Bro, listen, I don't know. I brought up the What If Altus video, you know what I mean? Just for, right? Yo, what up,
Hmm.
what up, what up? Welcome back to Pnoid News. And listen, yo, we're just kind of hanging the fuck out tonight. Figured out late night, we'll just fucking stream and chill or whatever. You know what I mean? I don't really care, right? I just called it late night fuckery with the boys, right? You know what I mean? So that's what it is. You know what I mean? I figured we could go over like maybe some of this Churchill a villain fucking thing, right? Even though, let's be honest here, like we actually don't know it probably enough about history to argue about this. You know what I mean? But we'll do whatever because I don't care.
Yeah, but Wizrud does. And basically the answer is no. It was a gotcha title to the video. He's basically saying if you know anything about these 5 books I powered through, then it's a ridiculous statement to say he was the
Well,
villain.
I
The Nazis
mean,
were the
like
bad
he
guys.
powered through
Yada
more
yada
than
yada.
five books, right? I mean, there 100% is an argument, right, to like say that fucking Britain's entire attitude is based off of them being constantly invaded on that fucking island for 1,000 years, right? Where it went from like like the fucking Romans to the fucking the Vikings to the Anglos, right, to the fucking French and the Normans, right? They just constantly just kept getting barraged over and over again, and so they felt like they needed to 100% protect themselves from like the fucking continent by like basically keeping it always unstable all the fucking time. Right, and that's why we have the attitude we have here, because like literally this is just a continuation of the same fuckery, because it's the same goddamn people. Like, even though we're on this continent with two ocean moats and a navy that can literally beat the rest of the world at once, right? um we still act like we're scared of the rest of the world for some fucking reason, right? Like, ever
Well, because it's through subterfuge. It's the Brezhnev era. This is all fucking espionage and messaging and mind control. It's a different kind of fucking game now.
I don't know, it's not that, right? It's not that, right? It's more along the lines of like, we have hard power. You only use like that soft power shit when you don't have hard power.
I don't know, man. The man made a pretty compelling argument, and it looks like that's exactly what's happening. Like I drew a fucking conclusion today, right?
So,
Where it's like right now the news is going crazy about manos. How do you talk to your children about manosphere? Like when we were coming up as kids, it was like talk to your kids about drugs.
mm,
I'm like, okay, that's cool. That actually makes sense. Maybe there are drugs in the school, and just in case, I will talk to my kids about that. No one talked to me about drugs. No one gave a shit. But the commercials were on, right? And uh, and there were crack vials on the fucking gym floor. But who cares? Anyway, that's not the point. The media was making us think about it. And then all these decades later, we find out that it was literally the fucking higher ups that put the shit on the streets in the first
it
place.
was the
They're like,
fucking CIA who
how do
fucking did
we
it.
Yeah, how do we get the blacks addicted to this high potency cocaine? Like, do we have someone who can endorse it? Like Richard Pryor, he's pretty popular. Let's get him on it. I don't know, fucking role models for drugs. Anyway, so now it's like the princess movement is making the rounds on like girl fucking TikTok or whatever, like girl influencer sphere. The girlosphere, let's call it.
Bro, where do you find
Because
out about this shit?
I am, like watching videos fucking constantly. My feed comes up with like the dumbest shit. For instance, here's a dumb segue. Everyone today had no choice but to field a bunch of fucking clips that were in their feed for this iDubbbz nothing
I didn't
burger
have any of this
fucking
shit. I had none of this recommended
Ethan.
to me.
Like I don't iDubbbz was the dude like in the green suit, like the filthy Frank suit that did a flip, and he's like, "I'm gay." That's all I know about the guy. But all of a sudden, there's this drama because of this Hassan Piker retard, and some drama with these interpersonal relationships. Okay, so the impression of that is like
I listen,
this is a
listen, listen.
generation of the
I
most lonely fucks. Anyway,
I don't
off the
listen.
point.
All right, so like you see my feed on the side, right? Like Rain Sounds, Reggie Miller, Michael Jordan, right? Something about him and Corey Feldman nonsense. I have no idea. Vince Carter, Mussolini, right? Fucking the history of the world according to ancient aliens from alternate history hub. Um, something about
You'll get it tomorrow.
WWE.
You'll get it tomorrow. You'll get
No,
it
I
tomorrow. I've
won't.
never looked at any of these videos,
I won't.
so I don't know
Right?
why it came on mine. But they're pushing it to like,
No, no,
okay,
no, no.
so
Again,
every
like it doesn't come
hundreds of
up on
millions
my
of people,
shit,
they're just
right?
like,
This
watch
is
this.
nowhere near my algorithm, right? Like it's not my algorithm at all.
Me neither.
I
I
don't
don't watch
watch
Well,
any
to
of
be
any
this bullshit
drama
fair,
shit.
shit at all.
to be
Me
fair,
neither. I have
I
zero interest
analyzed
in
the
it.
algorithm. I analyzed the algorithm, and that's only actually sent out to people they are convinced are secretly homosexual.
Oh, based. So, well, here's the fucked up thing. Fucking Sargon did a fucking coverage on it too. He's like, I don't know
You're
why.
strengthening my case.
Well, I mean, I don't think he's actually gay. He just has a gay voice. Different.
I mean, he did marry a single mom.
That's a cover.
Yikes. I mean, step up and do the right thing, man. Well,
I'm
that's
pretty
also
sure he's
mandatory
raising like
content.
some mixed kids. I mean, talking about like the future of the English race.
Oh, Jesus Christ. So anyway,
you
you
know, Joe,
have this.
one of Joe's kids is mixed, right?
Look, here's
You
the
know it right out
here's
of
the
that.
case for Brezmanov being right. Like now you have all this influence of these girls being like, you should be treated like a princess. But we understand from dynamics that was like a boomer thing that you could do because you had all this purchasing power. These guys can't fucking do that. So it's a perfect recipe for like no babies ever happening with these people that are, not part of a community that has some kind of like, value system that promotes having families. Like everyone that's left out of that kind of mindset, they're just going to be fucking cat ladies, and the dudes are just going to be
I
virgins. It's like
I
it's by
disagree.
design.
If they're
It's literally
treating,
by design.
What's
if
by
they
design?
get
No,
with a
listen,
dude that
it's
treats them,
okay. You do
it,
understand, right? That like none of this is by design, right? Okay.
It
Actually,
is, dude.
did you read my article today?
No. What was that?
All
I
right.
don't get sent it.
And listen, you got to subscribe to like Substack. Those
You
are like
send it to other people. Don't give me that shit.
I do
It was
send it to
probably
other
wedged
people,
between
right?
Nigerian prince emails.
I feel you, right?
I can only help so many of them at a time. I'm busy
I understand.
watching other dumb
All
He's
right,
content.
got to have some time
listen.
to renew his car's extended warranty.
That's true too.
Right, all
A
right.
lot
So
of
like
that.
I just read the part, what I mean, where like, okay, so basically I said in some all right, so I was talking about how basically there's no reason for like truckers like pay to go down because there's like, I mean, not like a shortage of people or there's like the amount of people who are willing to like not smoke weed and show up on time and I mean live a lifestyle that is completely like isolating, right, has gone down, right, not up. I mean, with the Zoomers and shit, right? And so, like, I mean, I said there's only two options of like why like the pay has gone like down, right? One, there's a giant cabal of very rich men who are artificially pushing down the wages. Two, there's been a mass influx of workers that has caused a demand of native workers. Let's examine option one, right? Which involves a giant cabal of men who would artificially lower the cost of labor. To a liberal mind who doesn't believe in God, this idea seems feasible. It's not a religious plant. Please stick with me. The human mind needs a way to order things. An overarching paradigm is needed to explain how things work. This is why we create gods in the first place. We see objects much larger and more powerful than the sun and the moon or a giant aircraft carrier. Understand inherently that we can't build something in this magnitude. We say the military, the Navy, or the government built that. Focus is on the in that sentence. It becomes a single entity in our mind because it's how we speak it through our vocabulary. Our brain is like the processor in our computers. You cannot picture the millions of faces of each of the individual guys who contribute to the collecting of taxes, the filing of the paperwork, and the requisition of a designer who hired an engineering firm who had 6 guys doing the testing of tensile strength of each piece of steel that lines the outside of the hull, which was built in the factory by a crew of 50 guys who poured the steel and rolled it out and shipped it using a broker who hired a guy with a flatbed to take it to a rail or shipyard, and so on and so on and so on. Right? And so we say now the cabal of men who would be needed to suppress the wages at each individual step along that process. For each firm wanted to hire and retain people to accomplish a task that would accomplish a task that would allow them to be a little bit better than the next firm is ludicrous. In addition, eventually it would get to the point where people would not show up and these things would become impossible to accomplish again, right? And then in the end, right, I fucking get into fucking this is not planned. The system requires infinite growth and will, like a plant, grow towards where the sunlight is. Its food is the wealth of the middle class and the poor. Middle class is the people without a nation in competition with each other. They've been propagandized for 100 years that World War II was the worst thing that had ever happened, and anything that looks like cooperation between look the same or have things in common is fascism. The propaganda again was a tactic to get everyone behind the war effort. So strong that in 1944 there were cities that had not celebrated the 4th of July since the 1860s that had giant celebrations. That propaganda that works and has been internalized by the citizenry. Right?
Sure. When it comes to logistics, I agree with you, but when it comes to messaging on the internet, which can be done behind a keyboard, I disagree. I think
Right.
the messaging is
The
very
secret. All
powerful
right.
and it has an effect, and it
See, the
looks
secret
apparent
cabal
to me.
thing isn't real. It isn't the Jews some Illuminati conspiracy. Emergent phenomenon. Government gets lobbied by every company to bring colleges, teaching class the idea of open borders and gives them a degree. Allows them to escape the consequences of these actions. These companies pay the media for advertising. They can't expose what's going on without losing advertising revenue. Middle class is assaulted on all sides, and they're told that other Americans are being right. This is the basic premise, the whole shit, right? This is why, like, yo, when we look at these things, I mean, it looks like a giant conspiracy, right? I mean, it looks like it's all fucking planned. But the truth of the matter is that this shit grows, right? Because of the fact that, like, you have, like, it goes to where the sunlight is, right? And so
Yeah,
it'll
I get
go to
it.
whatever sells. And women
That's the
are
point.
80% of consumers.
It doesn't have to be a grand conspiracy. It can be a very small, influential, well-moneyed actor taking advantage of the big machine. So just because you can't identify who exactly is paying for the ad space to make this shit on the air, there's obviously some kind of permissiveness about it, if not just apathy and neglect towards its existence. That in itself kind of stinks a conspiracy, but regardless, the fact that all this shit kind of fits neatly together, right? You have all this messaging about basically anything that's destructive to the family unit, and that doesn't lead to growth. That leads to short-term quarterly profits. That's just GDP go up bigot. That's
Yeah.
not a growth strategy. That's a fucking death spiral.
No, again, that's a growth strategy, though, right? For them.
It's too short-term to be a growth strategy. It's actually more of
They
a
don't listen. Again, carnival barkers went around selling fucking snake oil, right? They never cared. None of these people ever cared. All they give a shit about is whether or not they're able to sell their fucking snake oil and continue on. They don't give a fuck if it kills people.
well, if snake oil is killing people, we should probably address that.
Yeah, listen, I agree, right? But like, we're not because we're not a real nation or a society. We've had this conversation like 10 quadrillion times,
Yeah,
right? Like, they don't, like, again, this is like the whole thing we were arguing about earlier about that fucking kid who got killed in fucking Texas or whatever, right? We shouldn't care because it's fucking Texas. But like, we're gonna have to deal with the consequences of this fucking bullshit because, like, yo, the media knows that this sells fucking advertised because if it bleeds, it leads.
and the media makes it national news.
Yeah, because if it
So now you
bleeds,
have
The
to
it
fuck
leads.
people.
activists don't help, especially whenever they're escorting out the father of the slain child out of the press conference that they're holding for the other kid. Like, that's bad optics all the way around. Except for the slain kid's dad, I think that's pretty good optics, being able to face the person that did something to your child and not want to, well, and not act on the thought of wanting to murder them immediately,
I
but want to
mean,
confront them and
listen,
to
listen,
be
listen, listen.
have
That
a presence.
again. So you're feeding into the bullshit, right? You're feeding into the garbage, right? And this is natural for like human beings because, like, you have no idea who these motherfuckers are, right? Like, you have no clue, like, anything about what's going on with any of the facts of the fucking case, right? Because, like, literally, like, it's been like, I don't know, like 4 days or whatever it is since it fucking happened, right? And like, we just went through the arraignment and maybe like a prelim or whatever it is. right? And fucking, we're all standing here speculating about whatever, right? And you're like, oh, I'm putting myself in their fucking shoes. I know I got a kid. And I feel you, right? Like, again, I have 8 kids. I understand. But it's not my fucking business. Texas is not my
Yeah.
nation.
That's also fair.
That, and we've kind of been programmed to jump to conclusions and make it content, like at least
We're
these
not
podcasters.
programmed, bro. This is natural human shit, right? Again, this is the same thing as like your brain
Well,
going
that's
the.
that's the appeal to emotions, to want to engage with the story and have a feeling about it. But I'm saying from a business perspective, you have a podcast, you want to focus immediately and form an opinion, and then it's like, so, Tim Pool or Dim Fool, whatever. Oh, my opinion is cuckery, 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 cuck liberal libtard opinion. And then, oh, new information. I changed my mind from yesterday's fucking broadcast. Please tune in and buy a mattress. Here's some dick pills. Like, the reality is, the lawyers will get all the discovery, and we should reserve fucking judgment until we have all the fucking information and put
We
it out of our
shouldn't
mind
be
until.
judging it.
Well, if you were going to engage in the story,
Again,
because
we
it's a
should
human interest
not
story,
be judging it.
not now, certainly not
No,
with all the fucking
ever. It's
information.
not our business.
No, it's not. But eventually, that shit, like the news exists. What
Again,
are you saying?
it's
Just
not
ignore all news?
our business. Yes, it's not our business.
Kind of hard. It's kind of hard when like
It's not
almost
hard for
everybody's
me.
talking
It's
about
really
it.
easy for me. I don't care. This has nothing to do with us.
Sometimes
What?
I'll be doing
Do you
something
live in
and the shit will
Texas?
be playing.
Do you live in Texas?
That's not the point. That's not the point. The nature of media today is that it just kind of scrolls from one video to the next. And if it's in your algorithm, it's just going to pop up. And if my hands are wet or whatever, or full, and I can't, it just comes like it literally just gets in your brain.
Again, like we don't live in Texas.
I didn't purposely watch any of these fucking videos. Like shit was just scrolling through, and it's like, okay. Because everybody's talking about it.
Yeah,
You're eventually going to
we
see
don't
the
live
goddamn
there.
video.
It's not our business, right?
I feel you.
Like Texas is not our nation. It's not our people. Why do we care?
I don't really care, except for the thought that maybe there'll be fucking widespread looting and riots as a result of it making national news and everyone speculating and getting emotional.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
it
I
might
feel
be
you.
my problem.
Again, like, listen, and honest to God, dude, like, I've had this thought for years, right? Like, real shit. This is like an old thought of mine, right? I don't think the news should be allowed to report on anything until like the end of a trial,
100% agree.
right? Like, real shit. Because like there
That
are
shit
a
should be sealed.
many men who have been like arrested for things, right? And then found like not guilty later or found, you know what I mean? Like, like let go, right? Like or the charges were dropped. And like their lives were ruined because the news reported on a fucking story, you know what I mean, like before they had any of the fucking facts.
Right. Premature fucking emotional ejaculation.
Yeah, and on top of
And,
that,
and,
your
and the news
jurors,
people,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
they're
Right?
biased, right? And then on top of that, if there is a retraction that needs to be done, it's in fine print on the fucking next to last page. And
Yes.
homeboy's still fucked.
Yeah, exactly, right? So when we're having these fucking conversations, right? You know what I mean? Like this is what I'm saying. Like this is the fucking like the whole ass problem when it comes to shit, right? Like this is the entire problem. Is like I'm standing here and I'm going like, well, I don't think that like these motherfuckers should be able to do that. I don't think we should care. Right? You know what I mean? Like I think that there needs to be a concerted effort to fight back against this shit. You know what I mean? Where it's like, listen,
That's
we
fucking some
should
quicksand.
huh?
How do you do that? How do you
That's what I'm
change
doing right now. That's what I'm doing right now.
by just convincing everyone to stop watching the fucking retarded news? They've been trying to do that for like 40 years.
Yeah, no,
Ever
they
since the
haven't.
TV came
No,
out.
they have not. No one has been trying to stop them from watching the news. They have been actively getting pushed to watch the fucking news.
Well,
They
yeah,
literally
by
made TV shows about
winning. The
watching the fucking
opposition
news.
won. Yes, the opposition won. But there were people that when the TV first came to market, they were like, that's going to rot your brain. When the book finally came to market, that's going to rot your brain. When writing shit down was invented, Plato was like, yo, that shit'll rot your brain.
Yeah, again, man, listen, you know what I mean? Like
Maybe we're
fucking
just destined for brain rot.
yeah, listen, again, like this is the problem. We don't have like proper voices pushing back against this bullshit. Right? Like it literally shouldn't be that like we have an opinion on these things. Right? We shouldn't have an opinion. We shouldn't be even allowed to have an opinion. Right? Because like literally like we're supposed to have a court system that's unbiased and blind, right?
Hmm.
And this is where you can't have a court system that's unbiased and blind if everybody in the country is talking about this fucking case.
Yeah, the court of public opinion.
Right? You can't have that. Right? And literally like everybody should honestly I think they should like they should arrest Dick Wolf and like throw him in a fucking wood chipper. I'll be honest with you. Right? Because Law and Order has destroyed so much shit in our fucking society. Right? It is complete and utter fabrication and like justice porn. And it's all aimed at women to fucking stand here and like get them to like fucking think that the system is better than what it is. You know what I mean? And to think that like everybody's a goddamn criminal.
You know what? I agree. Let's jail Mariska Hargitay.
I agree. Right? And Richard Benson and all these motherfuckers, right? Like all this shit needs to go the way of a fucking dodo bird. It is fucking terrible for us as humans. We shouldn't have an opinion on other people's fucking lives. Right? If it isn't happening in your fucking community, you should not have an opinion on it. This is a goddamn tragedy that happened. Right? Like there's a fucking child dead and another one who's about to spend the rest of his life in fucking jail if he gets found guilty. Right?
And all the families that are affected, like it's
and this is
tragedy.
This probably had nothing to do with race or any other bullshit. It's literally like some personal nonsense. I'm like, you know how Texas schools are about fucking sports? Bro, listen, like bro, they literally like fucking still do that nonsense where they go capture each other's like shit. You know what I mean? Like steal each other's mascots and like fucking do all types of ill shit and graffiti things. You know what I mean? Set off fucking smoke bombs in each other's bathrooms. They do all types of bullshit. Right? This is how Texas sports are. They're fucking huge down there. Right? And it just got way out of fucking hand for like a couple of minutes because like some fucking kid, I mean, like fucking sat here and stabbed another fucking kid. Right? And it's a fucking tragedy. And everybody's fucking, it's hands across America and it's all fucking propaganda. Right? It's going to rile the fucking black people back to the left side of the fucking spectrum. Right? When we were finally standing here getting to the point where they're like, yeah, listen, we should probably, you know what I mean, like side with the people who are fucking with the workers. Right? This is all this shit is bad. It's all fucking bad in the end of the day.
Could it be better described as just a temporary distraction to get you not thinking about the correct things?
No, not at all. This is literally the correct thing that they want you to think about. Never let a tragedy go to fucking waste. That's what this is.
Right. The correct thing they want you to think about, but not the correct thing you should be focused on. I guess I should rephrase.
Yeah, I mean, again, there's nothing you should be focused on right now. Right? You should be focused on your family and community, but then we ain't done that in fucking 100 years.
Yeah, but that's what we should be focused on. And I agree with you. I just don't. I guess I was phrasing it poorly.
No, you weren't. I get what you were saying, right? Like, I get where you are. Like, oh, man, listen, there's a war in Gaza, and there's fucking shit in Ukraine. There's, fucking tariff shit. There's all types of stuff. Like, there's thousands of things to see, right? Thousands of things to see, right? And that we're not looking at because we're all worried about this fucking dumb shit, right? In the end of the day. But, like, real shit. Like, I get your mental.
Not worrying about any of that. Not worrying about any of that. Worrying about what you should be worried about, not what you're told to worry about, I guess.
No. Like literally, like you're like
worrying about your family.
Nobody.
I agree with
no. There's nobody who is literally doing this shit on purpose, right? This is all about, right? In the end of the day, this is all about like what you do as a human being, right? This has apps like this is your choice to pay attention to this, right? This is your community's choice to pay attention to this. Right? In the end of the day, that's what this is. And let me also keep this a bone. The only reason that like this race shit is all popped back up is because literally we're all poor again. Right? Like when we were all making money and like everybody was getting it, like motherfuckers, like literally there was no racism anywhere. Ever. Right? This shit didn't happen when we were making money. Right? But everybody's broke. All this shit is. That social contract, like, listen, forget about your culture and your people and your family, has been completely destroyed, right? Because you know why? The agreement was forget about your family and we'll fucking get you paid. right? You could have like this great fucking American dream and a car and a house and a family, and everybody can get along and like fucking, we'll all grow together. Gone, right? You know why? Because nobody's growing and everybody's broke. That's what this is, bro. That's all this shit the fuck is. It all the way funky. You know what I mean? Keep it a bean. This shit's fucking, this is dumb as fuck. You know what I mean? Like that's what this is, right? In the end of the day, right? So like that's what the fuck we're going through.
Yeah, a lot of things are, if not broken, in the process of breaking, like all the way around. It's almost like watching that windshield crack turn into a full fracture.
Yeah, I agree, right?
I guess I kind of saw this in real time today. I was behind a car at a Taco Bell drive-thru, and I'm like, why is this bitch just yapping off at the mouth, going off between each other? And all of a sudden, they pull. I don't know if it was he or she. They pull away, and the Taco Bell employee leans her whole body, half her body out, and just starts screaming out her license plate number, or their license plate number. Come to find out, the Taco Bell person thinks that that driver's intoxicated, and I'm like, thinking back on it, having this discussion with you right now, why do you care?
Right?
Why do you care if someone's driving drunk?
I mean, because like they could probably kill somebody else.
Yeah. I mean, I think you kind of should care.
I mean, again, this is your community, though, right? Like, these are your things that you like in your community you should care about, right? Where it's like, listen, my kids ride around here. You know what I mean?
I'm throwing you a softball.
Yeah, I feel you, right? You know what I mean? But like, your kids ride around here. That's why the fuck your kids like walk and play in the street or whatever. And there's people around here you care about. You don't want nobody getting fucking killed in your neighborhood. That's why you care about that, right? But caring about like some shit that's happening in Texas is fucking retarded.
Giving a shit about Justin Trudeau as a Tennessee resident.
I mean, feel you?
Why?
I mean, unless like you're involved in like, Canadian affairs, like I deal with like Canadian shipping and shit all the goddamn time. It's a pain in the fucking ass, right? But like, yeah, I feel you, right? I agree.
If you're in rural Tennessee, Trudeau's name is nowhere near your vocabulary.
I agree. Right.
But yes, if you're in like international shipping, sure.
Yeah, that's the mental, right? So when it gets down to it, like all this shit that we're talking about, I mean, is like fucking retarded. We shouldn't be caring about Texas. Like no one should care about Texas in any way, right? Like legit. Like this is 8 levels removed from you. This isn't your community. It's not your culture. It's not your nation. It's not your people, right? And you have nothing to do with these motherfuckers in any way.
All right. So on the expansion of your consciousness as far as what you should pay attention to, you use the N word, right? Nation.
Nation.
Some focus should be dedicated to the affairs of your nation, I'm sure. Like your day-to-day is about your local environment and the welfare of the people that you interact with day to day, your family, your friends, people that you kind of bump into.
But, yeah, what is your nation, though, right? At the end of the day.
Yeah, that's the question. So we should kind of care about Justin Tebow. Justin Tebow, ain't he the quarterback for the Titans? Who's that now? Like you're supposed to know these fucking things. It's not retarded to think that you should know like who the other nation leaders are and be worldly and have an education and kind of keep up with shit. Like it affects us in some way.
I mean, I feel you, right?
Just on it is not great, but like to kind of just have a general knowledge of shit that's happening with how fast information moves, I don't think that's a bad thing.
Like I get where you are, right? You know what I'm saying? Like fucking, I gotta find my fucking joint, bro. Like, listen, I was putting my.
Did you mean Tim Tebow?
Right.
No, that's the Prime Minister of Canada.
Fucking hell.
What do you think I am, an idiot? Tell you what.
Man, listen. Stop fucking giving me this stupid fucking thing. Right, I was looking for my store here, fucking the John, so I could like, like fucking show y'all the stuff. You know what I mean? That I fucking designed because I got new designs on my shit. Right. You know what I mean?
What, the wavy flag thing?
No, yeah. Well, I tried that. That shit did not work. Right. There we go. View T Public Store. Here we go. Okay. Now listen. By the way, like like if you guys want to buy some shit, you know what I mean? Like, listen, we got got Appalachian flag things now, right? You know what I mean? We got Appalachian flag T-shirts and hats and you know what I mean, like all this type of stuff, right? You know what I mean? Like fucking y'all should probably come check this shit out, right? You know what I mean? Like if you want to get like a fucking T-shirt or a hat or whatever the case is, you know what I mean? Put one up for this Houdini thing because like I have a female who'd be like disappearing all the time. You know what I mean? Like fuckers, I made that for her. Right? We got fucking Jones from the cartoon from back. You know what I mean? When I was making cartoons and shit. Right, we have stuff with the goddamn gorilla if you're interested. You know what I mean? And Pnoid live joints. We're going to start doing more memes on this motherfucker. I'm going to keep it 100 with you. Right, we're going to start making meme shirts. You know what I mean? Some like real gangster shit. You know what I mean? I'm going to figure like that's something. You know, I got to promote my store and shit. Like, y'all want to order a thing, like, you order your thing.
Can you get a GDP Go Up Bigot shirt going? I think that would be good.
Yeah, listen, again, I can do anything. We're going to start putting memes up on these motherfuckers. You know what I mean?
Put that up on a mug or something.
I feel you. We're gonna start doing all types of shit. This motherfucker, right? Like legit, right? Like yo, you want to watch like some of this fucking what if Altus video?
Yeah, I started it.
I feel you. Me too. If y'all want to hop in the stream,
It might.
You know what I mean?
Hold on. It might make sense to back up. Like the first 20 minutes is kind of like, I thought it got interesting at somewhere around 15 minutes. Unless you just want to do it from scratch and say, fuck it.
I mean, we can. You know what I mean?
Busting up in the chapters. All right, let's do it.
We don't have it like we don't have it like fucking. All right, so okay, all right. Let's get into this.
Of the German conquest of Europe is unimportant. Churchill could have just made peace with the Nazis, who were reasonable players. The unpleasant reality, which people, including Churchill, knew at the time, was that allowing the Germans to take the European continent would be reconciling about half of the continent to probably the worst atrocity in human history. Even if Hitler never invaded Russia, there still would have been a lot of genocide in Poland, a rich, beautiful Catholic country going back a millennia. Furthermore, Poland was a strong British ally, which meant that they would be reconciling their honor-bound alliance to national extinction. Secondly, Hitler's entire plan was the genocide of Eastern Europe. This was literally the only thing that he really cared about. He purposely de-emphasized the Battle of Britain, Dunkirk, and the North Africa theater in order to put 80% of his forces into taking Russia. The reason Hitler pulled back from the bombing raids on Britain while he was about a week from winning air superiority was that he needed to move said air forces against the coming invasion of Russia. As a reminder, World War II in Europe was almost exclusively caused by Hitler. When you're looking at World War I, it's a significantly more complex war where it's difficult to disentangle the different variables, but World War II is more simple. You can see that the British and French bent over backwards to stop war with Germany through the appeasement that occurred at Munich after the seizure of Czechoslovakia. Hitler was pretty open about the desire to start a war with Poland, which he saw as one of the biggest parts of Lebensraum. And again, keep in mind, in the Nazi worldview, war is innately good. Hitler wanted a permanent war in the Urals against the future Slav remnant state that he would keep so that the Nazis would have to fight.
All right, listen, I want to push back on like one of these ideas, right, real quick, before we go too far. Listen. All right, so the British as a whole, right? Remember how, like I said, like they're always worried about getting invaded and they're worried about the continent, keeping it whatever, right? The British way of keeping the Russians in check, right, were to surround them. You know what I mean? Like they made allies with all the people around them. and that this has been like the like fucking the way that they kept like fucking Russia like at bay was that every time Russia tried to like go over its borders, you know what I'm saying? Like they'd have to like go into like a British ally, right? And it's the same shit that we do today, where it's like like NATO fucking runs everything except fucking Ukraine. It's the same type of shit, right? I mean, it's literally it's the same as like us surrounding China with our fucking allies, Vietnam and fucking Japan and Korea and fucking Indonesia and all that type of shit. We control like the Straits of Malacca, right? Same thing with, like fucking Iran, where like we're cool with, we fucking conquered Iraq. We fucking, Saudi Arabia is like our best friend. We took over fucking Syria. Like fucking, we have Turkey as a fucking ally. It's the same exact fucking thing, right? It's like literally no goddamn different. And that's because like Catherine the Great, of fucking Russia sat here and said the only way Russia will ever be secure is if Russia, you know what I'm saying, expands outwards to like fucking all the geographic borders, right? That like actually have some type of like way of like stopping fucking, massive armies from just marching in. Because Poland, like the highest point in Poland is literally like about as high as like the highest point in Kansas, right? It's just a piece of flat fucking land. You can just, like, Poland has always been a highway to go into fucking Russia, to Moscow, right? And that's the same type of shit, right? And what up? Oh, today, it's still the same thing. Like, literally, like, again, the British are scared, right, all the time. Like, they're like the Anglos are always terrified little fucking cowards all the fucking time, right? Like, they've always been this way, right? And so, like, we are a continuation of the Anglo Empire. Mm. Not British. All right. So pre 1900, right? They had empires where like Britain, like had a whole bunch of places all around the world that they did trade with that they owned, right? Like literally, like it was much different than say like fucking Spain, right? Or like fucking well, not Spain, like France or Portugal or whatever, right? Like, so you had places that, like, yeah, Portugal had like sway in, and you had places that like Spain had sway in. But like, ultimately, like a lot of these places rejected like Spain and Portugal and France. France still had like colonies in Africa, so did Germany. But like Britain, literally, like they had like Australia and fucking Beijing and fucking Belize and fucking Canada and like fuck, I'm trying to think here, like all the fucking places that they fucking had, like India, right? And like literally these were like British fucking colonies, like they owned them, right? And so they only did trade in these colonies. They didn't do trade in French colonies or Spanish colonies or whatever it is, because they never wanted to become reliant upon like people who they might be going to fucking war with, right? Same thing with all the rest of them. Like that's why they had like all these colonies. And so what they did, or what the United States did, was in like 1944 at the Bretton Woods Agreement, we said, listen, we're gonna fucking, you don't have to have your colonies anymore, and that's not gonna exist. We're gonna get rid of all that shit. Britain didn't, because they still have like Australia and Canada, like parts of India or whatever. But like what you can do is like you can go anywhere, get any raw good, bring it home, metabolize it, and sell it to the United States, and you can like trade your way back into affluence. That's Zehan, right? So, like fucking that shit was gotten rid of, just as a whole in like a geopolitical standpoint, you know what I mean? But Britain and America never lost that idea of like fucking being scared of like everybody around them. You know what I mean? We're like France or Italy, they're like, we don't fucking care. We don't just like whatever. You know what I mean? We're not gonna like stand here and have like, like fucking make alliances with every fucking country in the goddamn world so that if anybody ever goes to war, we have to go to war too. You know what I mean? It's like a deterrent to make sure that like nobody fucks around and finds out. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's kind of the deal. right? And I mean, America still operates on the same shit. And it's literally not about trade. Hmm. All right, so okay, here's all right. Here's where it is. Like a proper statesman would have allowed like Russia, like say, listen, you're not going to control all the people like on the like east of fucking Germany. Like that's not going to happen. You don't even have the ability to do so. But here's what we'll do. Okay, you can park troops and have bases right at like the cutoffs. You know what I'm saying? So that you feel like you're secure and you don't have like a military between there and like where you are that can conquer you. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, just literally like let them guard the gates. And like that would have been it. They don't have to have political control of all these fucking people. You know what I'm saying? Well, Russia was never like that. That's Britain. That's Britain. That's Britain in America, bro. That's us. Like, yo, you give us an inch, we'll take like a fucking we'll take a country. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. France, Poland, Germany, fucking, you know what I mean, England, like everybody just keeps fucking them up all the time, right? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. Like the USSR, and it still cost them like millions of troops. And they might have won if it wasn't for like the Kazakhs. You know what I mean? Like turning on them. Mm. Right, this is the fucking thing, right? It's like, like yeah, Russia literally has too much land to fucking to like guard. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Oh, so I mean, like you give them the land up to the Volga. You know what I mean? Like, all right, right here, right, whatever, right, in Ukraine, and like the downside is I mean, like they don't have like massive amounts of like fucking like equipment. And Eastern Europe. Oh. The downside is okay. Here's what it is. Here's what it is. The downside is Eastern Europe isn't as liberal. They don't get a choice in them. All right. They have to get along with Russia. They're not going to be tied as close to the. Yeah. I mean, like we don't really have an investment there, but like, yeah, basically. Yeah. I mean, like it would still be like so. Okay. Poland is basically like a manufacturing hub in a way that like Mexico is for us, right? For like Germany, a lot of like Volkswagens and shit are made there. You know what I mean? Whatever. I mean, like a lot of the fucking like the heavy manufacturing, right? Ukraine is a place that we can put whatever the fuck we want. You know what I mean? And like they, as long as you pay off the local officials, they don't give a fuck. I have nobody can really figure out what Finland, fucking like Baltic country, right? and the Balkans are just a fucking giant mess all the fucking time. Like nobody knows what. Like literally, Britain is trying to stir shit up again. They can have a war there and drag Russia into another front. Yeah, right. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Just yeah, man. Listen, like this is just what it. Fucking, we just found out about this fucking like day. I think over here fucking around. And again, it's just back to they will not mind their business. Did you see that Eric Weinstein speech yet? I don't know. It's like 19 minutes. Yeah, yeah. I think we did. Don't remember fucking cover. All right, it's so sporadic. All right, yeah. Let's keep going.
It for centuries in order to maintain their virility. Hitler chose to start World War II, and the British were very reluctant to fight, with the start of the war being seen as a tragedy in the Western countries. What effectively happened here is that Hitler needed to conquer Poland for Lebensraum, Britain and France were allies of Poland, and thus they stuck out their necks to help Poland, and that's what started the war. I frankly find it disgusting that the Nazi apologists don't actually follow the Nazi line of argument. You can't call a nation which openly glorifies expansionist war as the highest good a victim. You can't say genocide is bad when the Nazis didn't think that. When asked about justifying the Holocaust, he said no one talks about the Armenians anymore, showing that he thought there was nothing wrong with the earlier genocides which occurred in Turkey 20 years earlier, involving the mass murder and export of their Greek and Armenian minorities. I find it hilarious that the defenders of Nazism are actually saying that the liberal value system is innately superior by trying to prove that the Nazis fit into a liberal moral code by not committing genocide. If they were honest, they'd say that in the Nazi moral code, genocide is acceptable, but they won't do that since they're cowards. Daryl Cooper has said that Churchill is a monster for the atrocities he committed in World War II, which is absolutely insane, given numerically Britain killed almost no people. As a source from Matthew White, who's bipartisan and the most respected author on atrocity stats, is that in World War II, the total death toll was around 65 million, and 40 million of which occurred in Europe, 20 million occurred in Asia, and over 30 million occurred in the Eastern Front between the Nazis and the Soviets. The Western Front killed about 5 million total. The British only killed 1 or 2 million people at most, which makes Britain one of the most humane factions in the war by far. He also says Britain started civilian bombings, but let's keep in mind the Germans were doing mass bombings of civilian centers in Britain beforehand with the Battle of Britain. Keep in mind the Nazis themselves did not see atrocities as morally wrong while the British did, which just makes the argument silly. The Nazis killed something like over 20 million people total. Hitler always fantasized about making peace with the British, who he saw as ideologically dangerous but also fellow Aryan kin who were being misled by Jews in order to not realize their shared self-interest in attacking Russia. If Churchill had made peace with the Germans, it would have reconciled the Nazis to attack Eastern Europe. This was a war that the Germans nearly won as is, in which people were surprised at how well the Russians fought due to their recent loss to the Germans in World War I. My business manager is a huge World War II buff and has read every major book written on this topic in the last few decades. I've had him watch this video and add his extra analysis on top of my own reading. He agrees that no serious historian can.
What up? Well, like, listen, you know, he says like his business manager knows what he does like, which he might. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yeah, like, bro, like, listen, I literally have people around here who I ask questions all the time to. Like, yo, legit. Like, yo, like, I did like I mean, because he's a homosexual. An expert on that. Never forget, he killed a guy. Right? He is literally a wizard. So, like Poland. You want to hear? You want to hear the weird thing? Me and him are literally from the same area. I agree. Right? But like, yeah, I agree. Yeah, I've read a bunch. You know what I mean? Fucker, like, there we go. Gotta like trying to get like his video because it keeps moving. I don't know why it keeps moving. But anyway, all right, yeah. Listen, we're gonna
disagree with any of this stuff. The Nazis were really, really evil, and they built genocide as the most foundational part of their worldview. The thing is that going back centuries, the British's dominant strategy was preventing the unification of the European continent, which you can either see with the Spanish, French, or Germans over the course of the modern period. Having a German empire stretching from the Atlantic to the Volga would be a nightmare for Britain, given they would be powerless against a unified Europe. As we've seen over history, Britain has done literally everything it can to stop a unified Europe.
yeah. You see what I'm saying? You know, what I mean, like literally, like this one's like again, like yo, Britain. You know, what I mean, are on this. They're constantly on this fucking level. Right? He's making it a positive. I'm saying it's a negative. Right? At the end of the day, because like they just cause massive amounts of wars all the fucking time. Right? Why? Why do we have to have this conversation every time? Listen, you know, what I mean, like, you know, I agree. Fuck you. I know diddling, I guess. Ah, listen, yeah, I feel you, right? But like, yeah, so like, okay, agree, agree. All right, let's keep.
Which is a wonderful transition for the next segment. Part 3, Churchill. I was completely dumbfounded when I heard people say that Churchill was the reason the British Empire fell, since it's such an insane opposite of the truth that I just find it unbelievable. For a frame of reference in the social context he existed in, Churchill was seen as so imperialistic, reactionary, and aggressive that he was practically in exile from British politics for decades as the nation became socialist. If there's literally anyone in British politics of that era who you could blame for the fall of the empire, it's not Churchill. For example, let's look at the Socialist Labour Party. One of the major issues Britain hit with the loss of the empire was that before World War I, only a tiny minority of Britain's population could vote. The upper classes were the main proponents of the empire, and so when only 3% of Britons could vote, the empire made sense operating out of their self-interest. However, in order to get warm bodies into the trenches, the British had to shift over to universal suffrage, including women due to World War I. The average lower-class Briton mostly cared about improving working conditions, which is fair to a certain degree, given the average Briton lived in completely degrading poverty. Over the course of the World Wars, Britain became a socialist country. The Conservative Party was for the empire, and the Socialists were against it.
Yo, listen. Listen. So the British, yeah, you're breaking up. Yeah, you're breaking up. Right. So like the British who, like during their like industrial revolution and afterwards, like their people were so fucking impoverished and malnourished they actually lost inches off their fucking health or off their height. Right. That's how bad it was in Britain. Like Britain has never been a rich country. Like, I mean, it was like rich because like the upper class was rich, but like their people have always been poor as fuck. Yeah, like I'm just putting this out here, bro. Like, yo, Britain was like one of the worst, right? When it came to like how their people got treated. I mean, like they were awful. That was the French, but also, yeah, like also giving men. Let's keep going.
Due to this process, Britain became the most socialist country in Western Europe, with a 95% tax rate, state takeover of most of the important industries, the banning of gun ownership, the increase of the bureaucracy by a factor of 100, the death of the empire, the end of the aristocracy, amongst other things. If we're blaming anyone for the death of the empire, why not blame the people who openly called for the death of the empire, or the socialists? This also doesn't talk about a variety of other factors. First of which is that the death of the empire occurred more than a decade after the end of World War II. Also that every major West European country gave up their colonial empires, not just Britain, due to how crippled and impoverished they were due to the war. If not a single European colonial empire survived, this feels like a historic current that a single man couldn't stop, since de Gaulle in France clearly couldn't, even though he tried really hard. Same thing with Franco, the Portuguese, or apartheid South Africa, who all tried to maintain their empires by tooth and claw but failed. You could blame the US, which offered Britain and France loans in order to keep fighting the war, while heavily implying that the Europeans should give up their empires as a way to pay for it. Churchill was even seen as too radical inside the Conservative Party. Keep in mind Chamberlain, the previous Conservative PM of Britain, bent his back over to appease Germany before ultimately failing. He was widely loved for it at the time and was considered one of the greatest men of his time for appeasing Germany before the war started. Churchill was seen as the far right of British politics, a figure who himself said he was born in the wrong century. Churchill was used by the British people to win the war, in that he was only placed in power after the British were terrified of German conquest in 1940, and then he was immediately taken out of power the second the war ended, and was replaced with a socialist who gave India the crown jewel of the empire, containing 80% of its population, independence. The British saw Churchill as an insane crusader radical who they used for wars, and then otherwise saw him as too reactionary and stuck out of that era for modern governance. Churchill was not responsible for the general direction and decline of the British Empire. In fact, he was a lone madman screaming against it. I see a lot of the current discourse on Churchill completely ignores who he was as a person, using him as a political symbol rather than as the human being he was. This is one of the things I find inexcusable, where I think it's completely normal and healthy to have critical discussion about historic figures. And the thing I'm noticing here is that it's not actually a historical discussion. It's more so ideological game of Go, of trying to pick certain symbols to attack in order to use them for an ideological gain. And the way you notice that is by looking to see when will people use language in a way where they're not trying to understand who that person was and why they made decisions. It's a critical lack of empathy. And you say this purely independently of politics, but Churchill was a truly great man. On a scale of pure achievement, probably one of the greatest men of that century. As a story from my personal life, I was suicidal when I was 15 and I'm now 23. I was not in a good psychological place. This moment changed my life when I stood in my dad's
That day he became a wizard when he discovered that he couldn't die. I mean, that was the day that I met, Thor and Odin. Because like they came to me, told me, that you can't die. You have a purpose on Earth. Now go rape your sister. You know what I'm saying? Yo, like, listen. Oh, yo, he's fucking crazy.
kitchen past midnight because I couldn't sleep, holding up a giant knife against my arm. Then I thought, wait, if I have a knife, why am I using it myself? That day, I realized that no matter how bad my life became, if I lived a life of honor, it would all be worth it. There were 3 books that, at that critical juncture of my life, made me turn things around. One was George Orwell's 1984. The second was Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. And the third was Churchill's autobiography, which he wrote when he was 24, which is my age. And the thing that I found so inspirational about Churchill as a teenager was that by such a young age, he went from a teenager who didn't do well in school and wasn't popular, and then as a young man, he became such an incredible hero. He fought in the last major cavalry charge in British history at Omdurman in the Sudan. He fought in Afghanistan, Cuba, and escaped a concentration camp by himself in the Boer War in South Africa. He wrote the autobiography right when he was running for Member of Parliament at such a young age. The thing that I found so inspirational about Churchill when I read about him as a teenager is that he was able to attain greatness in multiple different fields, being a modern Renaissance man. I realized at that age, if I could study how he attained greatness, I could reverse engineer it myself and use it for my own life. This inspired me to live the crazy life that I've had, including dropping out of college at age 18.
Bro, listen, like, yo, why did he put a picture of himself up with holding a bird? Mm, mm. Oh, I understand. Listen, he had to cook his. I understand.
to live as a digital nomad in 6 countries, hiking 600 miles in the Appalachian Trail alone, going on my various spiritual journeys, turning this channel into a successful business that makes 6 figures a year, how I ran a group for influencers in Los Angeles, became involved in conservative politics, and you should watch for the new projects I need dropping soon in the next few months, and also to study these topics and try to be an intellectual. I apologize for the shameless bragging, but I am the narrator, so I will take certain liberties for self-promotion. But back to the story. Besides being a heroic figure at a young age, Churchill became one of the youngest Sea Lords, or leaders of the British Navy, in which the failed Gallipoli campaign was his brainchild. He also helped pioneer tank warfare, which broke through the deadlock of trench warfare that made World War I such a horrifying event that killed millions. He was a best-selling author, including writing legitimate histories, of which the 4-volume History of the English-Speaking Peoples, which I've read, is incredible, alongside his 7-volume History of World War II. He was also an accomplished artist in several fields, whether painting or bricklaying. If this discourse was honest, there would at least be some discussion of who Churchill was as a man, since only by understanding his character could you look at why and how he made decisions. Even if you dislike him for political reasons, Churchill had so many admirable traits as a person, being one of the very last Renaissance men and adventurers.
It sounds like he wants to have sex with Churchill. Listen, like, see, this is the problem. Yeah, but this is the problem, right? With like the whole like, this is why everybody goes like, listen, Churchill was a bad guy, right? Is because of this fuckery right here. I mean, it's literally like you can't suck somebody's cock this fucking much, right? And then like not say like negative shit about him. You know what I mean? Like you can't go like, oh well, you know, Churchill was a complete drunk, and you know what I mean, like fucking he was a fat fuck. You know what I mean? He liked to like fucking hold meetings asshole naked on a regular basis. He was not swimming in pussy, right? But like have you ever seen him? He looks like the fucking penguin. Literally, like I swear to God, like yo, he literally used to have meetings with like world leaders naked, right? Like he'd fucking invite them in when he's taking a bath and like hop out, you know what I mean, with his little fucking pecker sticking out.
Fucks. Like, you can't tell me that he wasn't fucking swimming in pussy.
I mean, I can say that.
All right, we're gonna need a fucking time
He
machine.
was
I'm
he
gonna put
was
$10
swimming
on.
in brandy though. That's indisputed.
It's not really like this. I mean, yeah, that is, yeah, that's where you are, right?
By the way, I have a feeling that the reason this video came out in this time frame is to kind of catch the attention of Douglas Murray, because the whole Kill Joe Rogan Manosphere Leader podcast fucking fuck shit narrative that's going on. He's just kind of like riding that wave. Not a bad idea, like from a marketing perspective, but
I
whole
feel you.
thing's weird.
Feel you.
He has to pass off for a man though.
He's got to write a book.
Uh,
Douglas Murray's
gotta-
making the rounds because he has a fucking book. Like everyone's trying to hawk something. Like you got to have merchandise.
But didn't he go on Joe Rogan and he like either he did he have the bad interview, or was it the other guy that had the bad interview?
It
You know what I'm
was.
talking about?
I think it was Rage Bait. So basically, Rogan had Dave Smith and Douglas Murray on, and Douglas Murray came off as kind of a bitch. but at the same time, he was on Impact Theory and had a very good conversation with Tom. And it was like two different people like inhabited that shell of a man, two different personalities. I think it's all marketing. I think it's stunting.
So it's not an accurate portrayal of his viewpoint. It was just a way to get him and his likeness and his book to go viral.
He's selling a book. Yeah. It's the
Yeah.
right way to utilize that. No, I think there was, at the same time, genuine interest in all parties involved in expressing their viewpoints, but there's always, more than one
It wasn't altruistic.
reason
It
to
was
do things.
100%. Yeah, it wasn't altruistic. It was 100% a money grab, in your view.
Well, I mean, if you're going to go on, if you're going to go to a different country and you have something to sell, obviously that's part of your agenda. I think.
So, Pnoid, while you hit play on this, can you send me in a DM a picture of this guy?
Wizard fucking costume with like a bloody axe and like a god's head in the other hand, that would sell like hotcakes. I'd buy one. Shit.
I need more information on this lore, because the way you make him sound is that he is an unfortunate looking individual.
Yeah, I mean, this is what you get for this modern age. Like this is what you get. This is it.
Yeah, I mean, like this literally looks like this is what Zoomers like look and sound like.
Yeah,
What I'm saying.
this welcome to now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't like right now.
Yeah, now is fucking cringe. Like, you're just gonna have to like develop a fucking tough skin for it, though. This is it, and it's gonna get really, really fucking spurgy. Like, if you think it's bad now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
It gets worse.
Yeah,
It does.
God damn it.
like I've envisioned a future where like traffic lights like flash like Coco Melon and emit fucking screams and drum and bass like constantly. Like everything's always flashing and screaming at you, just so that people can like walk in a straight line without falling down.
Oh man, listen, you should see like some of like Neurojack's content. Yo, I was on Machine Live stream earlier. He gave me a panic attack going down the fucking road. It was bad, bro. It was legit. It was fucking bad.
How did he accomplish this?
Like he sat here and just like fucked me up. Like he like put on a video, turned the speed up to like fucking 200%, and then started playing like this music in the background, bro. Like I swear to God, like it gave me a fucking panic attack. It was fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's like seizure warning fucking clips.
Yeah.
To be fair, as a person clinically diagnosed with ADHD, sometimes I'll be listening to a story and I'm just like, okay, just get to the fucking point. And I'll put that bitch on 2.0 speed, just so I can get to the good parts where I actually want to invest some time.
Like I can't pee unless I have like strobe lights in 3 different colors, 5 sirens, a bullhorn, and I'm shitting and
Adventurers in an
puking
age
at the same
that prized mediocrity, conformity, and standard.
All right, there we go.
Fucking people.
Yeah, nah. Listen. I was fucking like I'm over here trying to get this motherfucker to work right. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, listen, it wasn't working right. Like I literally like I don't know, for the past like I guess like 20 minutes or whatever, like literally I wasn't capturing like your fucking audio, right? So I had to like figure out a way to have not just your audio but also the window capture audio be able to like fucking be put, you know what I mean, on the stream. And I figured out how to do it. Like, I apologize. Like I had to figure that shit the fuck out.
So-
how's this damn machine work? Work machine.
Basically,
So,
that's what it was
they
hitting
could
for.
hear you. They could hear the audio of the video, but they couldn't hear us.
Yes.
Probably for the best.
Nice.
I mean, maybe. Listen,
Yeah,
look. This shit is not easy to do. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, right? Like, this is not like some basic bitch shit. I'm like, listen, I am doing the same thing that the fucking news does. You know what I mean? From like a fucking desktop computer in a room in like the middle of a fucking city, you know what I mean, by myself. Okay? Like, this is not easy. You know what I mean, let's keep this 100% honest.
Can you just name it instead of Pnoid News to Boomer Streams?
Shut your fucking mouth, you piece of shit.
I will not.
I'm pressing the button that says time under it, and it's still flashing with the 1200.
No, listen.
But
Here's the thing. Okay, all right. Look. I have
I'm
two
calling
different.
911.
Listen, I have two different audio inputs. I have the input for like the speakers. You know what I mean? They're just like regular speakers. You know what I mean? Like I listen to shit on. You know what I mean? Like out loud. And then I have like the headphones that come out of the microphone.
Oh,
Right?
it's a stereo.
Wait. And then I have the headphones that come out of the microphone. Right? These are two separate fucking like mics. Right? Or two separate like outputs. So
Yeah,
like
no, you
literally
get the digital fucking cable.
Yeah, I don't have the. No, it's not digital
Click it
cable.
on.
Right?
It's like
Right.
a download.
So like what it is like, I have to like have, you know what I mean, of the fucking audio from the window capture working, right? At the same time while I have like the fucking microphone, you know what I mean, joint working, so I can hear you I can watch your shit on the stream. Everybody can hear you on the stream and hear the video, right? You know what I mean? But like from different fucking sources. Right. And like OBS allows to do this. So like I had to turn on like capture the audio and the window capture in OBS. Right.
Well, would it help Grandpa out if you labeled them with colors?
I swear to God, I will stab you in the fucking face, you fucking no neck having motherfucker. Bro, listen, you goddamn fat fucking Hank Hill motherfucker, bro. Like, yo, Jesus Christ.
I know my propane accessories.
I'm
You
gonna
don't
listen, I'm
know
gonna
your
come
fucking
steal your
macaroni
bitch's Jew gold. You keep fucking around.
I mean, it is unnecessarily non-integrated and complicated. Like, to get shit to work properly, it's like you have to go through all these hoops and steps, and you think to yourself, like, with all this technology, why is it like this still? Like, this shit's so fucking...
Just because y'all both have your AARP card doesn't mean y'all need to now stick together.
Listen, look, 3/4. There's a reason you don't do this shit, all right? Because like it is not easy, right? And like if you did it, I'll be honest with you, like you'd probably end up not just getting swatted. Somebody would throw Molotovs through your fucking window, like fucking Cody Balmer and shit. You know what I mean?
What they don't know is I'll throw them back.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're like the whole nation would come against you at the same time, right? You'd have like fucking 1 million people on a 1 million man.
They
march
wouldn't come
towards
against
your house.
me. They would collectively come on me.
They would no,
And
they
then
would
it would
not
just be
Bukaki.
Bukaki,
Bro, listen,
yes.
stop with your Bukaki fantasies, all right?
Yeah, save it for Churchill.
Hold on. We'll fucking save it for fucking...
All right, listen. Let me see.
God damn it.
All right. So let's keep running this video a little bit.
Standardization. However, since none of this is really about
Poland.
Churchill, we don't talk about Churchill. Thus, to summarize picking Churchill as a figure who killed the British Empire is beyond insane, since he was
That
the
faggot just
figure
said Churchill
out of
3 different
anyone in
ways,
that
and I
time
wanna punch
period
him
who
in the
fought the
throat.
most for it. A great irony is that before Churchill became seen as a rightist villain, he was vociferously hated by the left for being too imperialistic. They talked about his quotes where he was against women's suffrage, alternately his handling of the Bengal famine which killed millions, his imperial wars, or how he said Islam would be the most dangerous opponent of the West in the 21st century. Winston Churchill completely loathed the communists, and thus treating him as someone sympathetic to the left is insane. The British government before the German seizure of France literally were about to attack Russia due to their alliance with Germany at the time and Russia's attack on Finland. Look this up. It would have been an absolutely terrible decision, but lots of authors like Little Hart or Carol Quigley have written extensively about it. it. I was just rereading Matthew White's book on atrocities as I was producing this video, and he makes a very interesting point, where he said that for the isolationists who think that the British and the French should have kept out of Germany's attack on Poland, is that due for ideological and strategic reasons, both the Nazis and the Soviets were the natural enemies of the Western democratic countries. And so the choice wasn't fighting none of them, it was really fighting one or both, where we nearly had a timeline where the Soviets and the Nazis worked together against the British and the French, which the Nazis would inevitably double-cross the Soviets as they did, and they had no idea how things were going to work out. So when you're looking at Churchill's perspective, it's easier to start a war or to continue a war where it's just fighting against Germany than one where the situation gets worse. Hitler actively put himself out of his own way to be as dangerous for the global order as possible. Stalin killed more people, but Hitler made it his policy to destroy the current European social order and to wreak as much chaos as possible, which made him the natural enemy of everyone else in Europe. I also want to emphasize this point because I think a lot of people forget it, that Churchill did not start World War II, and in fact, he was not even in power at the start of World War II, being in political isolation and exile, while Neville Chamberlain was the British Prime Minister who declared war on Germany. So what happened is that the British got involved in a war, which the Germans started by invading Poland, and then when they were worried they were going to lose, they shoved Churchill, the old war hero, into power. When asked about working with the Soviets after Hitler double-crossed his Soviet allies, Churchill openly said in Parliament, "If Hitler were to invade hell, I would put in a good word for the devil." Churchill openly hated the communists more than the Nazis, but because he was an old-school conservative, he saw the Nazis as innately godless, tyrannical, statist, and evil. Churchill was the madman who was against the Nazis, while the whole rest of the British nation begged for appeasement to work. Hell, the earlier British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain literally received the Nobel Peace Prize for appeasing Germany and was wildly popular at the time. Churchill, alongside Patton, were trying to get the Western Allies to attack the Soviet Union after the end of the war, scheduled for July 1st, 1945, since he saw the Soviets as such a great threat. Churchill, unlike FDR, tried to actively push against the Soviet conquest of Eastern Europe after the war. He attempted to block the Soviets from taking Hungary, the Balkans, and Czechia, while sending large amounts of aid to help the Free Polish uprising against the communists and Nazis. Saying Churchill wasn't based enough is about as ridiculous as you can get. Part 4. Honor. One of the worst things in our culture is the criticism of the greatest men for not doing enough, alongside criticizing people for fields of operating in which we know nothing, both of which are incredibly immature things to do. For the first, you're taking the best people in history and saying what they did is not enough. And if that's the case, what's even your frame if the best isn't enough? And secondly, I don't criticize pilots because I don't know how to fly a plane. I don't criticize investors because I don't really know how to invest. When someone's operating in a field where I know nothing, I shut up and I try to show them some respect. Before I want to get started, I want to say this isn't about the historic event itself. I don't really care if you want to do counterfactuals about World War II to shadowbox the best decisions. I started this channel out for the first 7 years as alternate history, for example, where I think I made a literal exact alternate history where Churchill makes peace with the Nazis. That's just part of military history, and open debate makes all of us stronger. History nerds forever have loved to debate about what was the correct decision or not, and who was the best commander of a war. That's the point. I stand for open and honest debate of history, not propagandistic cherry-picking of a historical narrative to prove an ideological point. You can tell the difference from the level of rationalizing and the degree of emotional investment in the argument. It's the intentions that matter here, not the thing itself. For example, when historians argue about atrocities in some long-gone ancient war as an academic exercise, it's very different from people needing the numbers for the Holocaust and Holodomor to be as low as possible. In the companies I've run, I've had a policy that if someone does good work, I force everyone else to clap and thank them, and then we publicly tell everyone how much I appreciate them. This is since it's very easy to sit on your...
Yo, first off, what up, Neurojack? Secondly, Did y'all catch that Eric Weinstein uh fucking gas station Matt Walsh fucking thing on Pierce Morgan?
I did
No.
not see his section on it. I saw portions of the part where that's the one where he was yelling at Gorlock, right?
No, 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 no. This was a different one, right?
No. All right, no, I totally missed it.
Yeah, so
Was it about
basic
Churchill?
part of it was, right? Basically, I mean, listen, I'll be honest, I'm kind of bored of this video. Are you bored of this video like I'm bored of this video?
Yeah.
All right, listen, let's do Morgan Eric Weinstein. Hang on. 5 months ago, 2 days ago. Here we go. Okay.
I'm a free American. I can.
Oh yeah. Okay, so where does Weinstein comes in? About year-ish. All right, yeah. Listen, right. You shouldn't be able to stand here and have a conversation about like anything because like about fucking Israel. And I mean, telling like Dave Smith because you don't know anything about Israel and blah 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 and all this fucking. You've never been there. You've never seen the crossings. Trust the experts and only let the experts speak. This fucking guy's retarded, right? Right. Um. Yeah. So, you know, I mean, like, I personally don't care about that guy. He's fucking retarded. You know what I mean? But like Eric Weinstein comes on and just like, you know, I mean, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, you can do this shit on this fucking show, right? Let me keep this 100, right? So here, check this shit out.
You don't get to be a historical revisionist like Dave.
Actually, I do.
Okay, John Spencer, thank you very much indeed. Well, Dave, I'm going to let you respond, but with Eric. So I'm going to say goodbye to John. John, thank you. It was a riveting debate between you two. I really appreciate it. Well, joining us now with some final thoughts on the debate, a man who can claim to be friends with Joe Rogan, with Dave Smith, and with Douglas Murray, and I would like to think now with me, Harvard mathematician and founder of the intellectual dark web, Dr. Eric Weinstein, has just returned from his own research trip to Israel, and Dave is staying with us. So, Eric, great to see you. Just on that point, Eric, about platforming people, it seems to me Daryl Cooper is one of those characters out there at the moment who are promoting something they know to be untrue. It's a bit like Alex Jones when he went after the Sandy Hook families and said it was all a hoax. They're promoting something that is deliberately untrue, but can be commercially very lucrative to them. Should those people who are making good money from perpetrating, in my estimation, obvious lies, should they be given platforms?
That loads the question a bit. Look, everybody's doing something different online. I mean, somebody could say you're making good money from holding conflicts and shouting matches that play into the inguinal desire for combat, you know, and in a certain sense, we're all making money doing something, hopefully. The problem is, what is anyone's intention? And one of the problems of knowing Daryl Cooper is that the shitposting Daryl Cooper and the thoughtful Daryl Cooper are not always the same person, easily reconciled. Many people talk about having sort of, yeah, this is the way I am online, this is the way I am in a different place. And, you know, the odd thing about that is that this mirrors a tradition in academics that is not much discussed, which is the esoteric-exoteric tradition, in which typically a scholar behaves one way in the seminar room and another way when his or her words might influence policy. And so even if you're in the heterodox movement, I'm sure that Donald Trump is keeping his own counsel about what he intends to do with tariffs. He's doing an esoteric-exoteric routine. And so in part, the problem is that we haven't reconciled ourselves to the idea that we speak one way in front of the world, another way behind closed doors, and that this is actually natural and normal. And as a result, you know, what we're doing is we're hauling out different people. We see that Fauci and Collins are, you know, behaving one way behind the scenes, a different way in Congress. Daryl is the same way. I no doubt have my own version of esoteric-exoteric. And we're just not comfortable with it. And so in a certain sense, we're all waking up on the same day to the reality that this is a natural and normal part of scholarship, governance, civics, and personal life.
Yeah, I mean, Dave, it's an interesting one because I had Dan Balzerian on, who was spewing repulsive anti-Semitic crap to me for about half an hour before I finally ended it. But he has a big following and had been sort of going slightly down that road, and I felt it was right to challenge him. And then there was a big debate afterwards about whether I should given him the oxygen of being able to repeat this stuff on a big platform like Uncensored. I would say it was slightly different to what I think, because I think he may genuinely believe what he was saying. And it may be that Daryl Cooper does too. I don't know him. In Alex Jones's case, I mean, Elon Musk cancelled an interview with me because he saw a clip of me criticizing him for reversing his decision about whether allowing Alex Jones onto X, for example. His original position was he shouldn't be on X because he was dancing on the graves of children deliberately and was deliberately lying to make hundreds of millions of dollars out of making the grief of those poor families immeasurably worse. And I felt it was wrong to give someone like that a platform again on X. Now, it's an arguable point, but I guess my question for you would be, you're a libertarian. You clearly think Daryl Cooper should be platformed. I heard that strongly when you were talking to Douglas. But is there anyone who shouldn't be platformed? I mean, where is that line for a libertarian?
Well, I mean, the libertarian position would be that it's up to the people who own the platforms to decide who they want to platform and don't. And our only red line would be that the government should never be in the business of deciding any of this. Can I say, though, yes, I love Daryl Cooper. He's a friend of mine, and I think his work is phenomenal. I am really beginning to resent the fact that every show I go on, I get asked about Daryl Cooper, who somehow I'm working as hard as I can to generate outrage and controversy. I've been on Rogan like 15 times more than him, and still when I'm on, all anyone wants to talk about is Daryl Cooper. And look, I think this in and of itself just says something that's so fascinating. I mean, the guy had one almost throwaway line on the Tucker Carlson show, where, by the way, he caveated it in the beginning and the end. Said, I just say this to get a rise out of my buddy. I'm kind of ribbing him. Also, I'm being hyperbolic. And when I say Churchill's the villain, I don't mean that he committed the most atrocities or was the worst person. And it's like, my God, this sentence, the reaction alone to it almost proves the point, that which ultimately is what Daryl Cooper was making, which is that World War II has become essentially our religion. It is like down to the fact that if somebody were to say they're a devil worshiper, you wouldn't even bring them on your show, Pierce, because it's not that interesting. No one's even going to want to watch that. It's not.
No, but
who
I think.
cares?
No,
Go
but
be
hang
a
on,
devil.
Dave. But
if you're wait,
yeah, but Dave, I would say,
if you're a Nazi,
I
then
admire your
if you
defense.
say,
I admire your defense, but let's be clear. If someone is going to say that Churchill's the chief villain of World War II, they deserve all that's coming their way, because Churchill tried to defend
well, he didn't
the
even
world
really say that
from a genocidal maniac called Adolf Hitler. I don't think there's any debate to be had. So when you do that, you're doing you are deliberately putting yourself in the fire. Anyway, let's move on.
Fair enough. Fair enough. And maybe he could have been more precise in that comment. But to your like larger question, there's look, I mean, all of this stuff is somewhat debatable and somewhat arbitrary. I tend to err on the side of, I think you were right to have Dan on your show. And I think that it's like, look, this is, if you think this stuff is bubbling up on the internet and it's very concerning to you, okay, well, like, look, we had a massive experiment between 2016 and then really culminating in 2020 and then kind of died down after Elon Musk bought Twitter. We had a massive experiment in internet censorship and deplatforming. Where did that get us? I mean, I think it's much healthier to air these grievances out and give pushback where warranted. And I think
fucking based, bruh. Like, yo, how can you have like a society if you can't ever like fucking literally just have a conversation inside of your society about shit that's pissing you off about other people? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you check like overreaches and opulence and all the shit that goes with it without standing here and I mean like having like being able to have like basic ass conversations about shit? Nobody else wants to chime in? I feel like y'all are trying to chime in and you're not. Like, I got you. Listen. We're gonna keep going. You're real shit. Like, I think. Oh yeah, see, Neurojack fucking unmuted and I didn't hear anything. Hold up. We're gonna disconnect and reconnect.
Hello, can you hear us
All right,
now?
there we go. Now I can hear y'all, bro. Yeah, listen.
Yeah, it was all Pnoid. Anyway,
Turn this machine
what was
on.
dreams, everybody?
Well, I just want to say this really quick. Is like,
what up?
With Weinstein. I mean, like, look, I mean, I come out of the anarcho-capitalist thing before, and I don't really believe it anymore. But I get the argument. But the big problem is that, you know, pretending that the government won't be involved, it's the monopoly on force. So the first thing you know, the corporations are doing is hiding behind the fucking guys with a gun saying, "Oh, we're just gonna decide who says what." But like, the corporations are literally like, they can turn off or on the algorithm and get you viewers or not get you viewers. So they don't have
well
to
aware of this.
overtly ban you, right? So,
Well aware of this fact. Right, 100. I am well aware of this fact.
so I'm just saying that, like, Weinstein, I mean, I have some suspicions about the fellow, but you know, some of which is a joke and some of which is not. But it's like, you know, like, this whole conversation feels as if it's a LARP to me personally. Like, to me, it just feels like they're speaking out of both sides of their mouth, you know, which I don't blame them. I mean, I respect it. I'm just saying, like,
All right, yo, here's
sure,
my thing. I
just-
like Weinstein a lot, right? Like, I think Weinstein's one of like the best figures out there as far as shit's concerned, and especially when it comes down to like breaking down like how the system works. It's like him and Yarvin are probably the top two guys, right? When you want to have these type of conversations and these shits. And I like the fact that Weinstein comes from almost like the same ideological background that I do. It's like that immigrant mentality, right? I fucking like that. But it's all love, right? Like, he'll break out in the middle of a podcast and start playing like fucking like guitar and shit. You know what I mean? And like start breaking down like these mathematical fucking chords that you play when you're playing fucking music that all relate back to like the original like fucking children's songs that we have when we were kids. Like, he's fucking fascinating. The guy is fucking fascinating as fuck. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I just like him as a person.
Yeah, me
Yeah,
too.
I
Which
mean,
means
look,
that no one's afraid of him disrupting any of this obviously coordinated, scheduled, for your enjoyment broadcast, because the same subject is literally everywhere in the same slots in the same week. But it's all, as far as Weinstein's concerned, it's over most people's heads. So
Well,
you can call him a Mossad plant, but
well,
like that
look,
can't
I mean,
really
look,
be true because he is being based.
Yeah.
I mean, look, I respect the guy, but the guy is a fucking Mossad agent. But that, I mean, and that's fine.
I don't think he's a
I
Mossad agent.
respect it.
I don't think he's a Mossad agent.
I mean, but he's literally like the top psyoper in the last 15 years. I mean,
How?
and I'm not
How?
I'm not knocking it.
Explain how he's a psyoper.
I respect it.
No,
I respect
explain
it,
how
yeah.
he's a psyoper.
Because he created the entire internet meme culture in the last 15 years,
No, he didn't.
which is great, you know?
He did not
It's
create
great. I'm
he
just
did
saying
not
that
create any of the
that's what
internet
it
meme
is.
culture.
Sure he did.
How?
If you look at, if he created the intellectual dark web, which has completely
No, he
dominated
named it.
the online discourse.
No, he just named it.
I mean, his talking points have been
Consistent?
proliferated out, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, yo,
I
because
mean,
his talking points are right.
you know, it, sure, but we're ruled by people with small hats like him. I mean, there's just no way around it.
Okay, all right. Listen, so like, he literally bitches because like motherfuckers don't call him for like advice.
Yeah, I agree. And if the dude wanted to sit down and have a conversation with me, teach me how to control society, I would listen and work with them. But
Yeah. Listen,
you know,
again, like,
I don't think people
look,
like him are looking out for us here on the bottom. Like,
no,
I hope he is, but I don't think so.
like, so like literally like Eric Weinstein like flat out said, right, in this one podcast I was watching, right, it was like some of the most base shit I've ever heard in my entire life, right? And he's been fighting for like, and I mean like the working class in America for like probably 40 years at this point, right? Like he wrote a paper in like fucking 92 for the fucking, I want to say it was like UN or the W, not the WEF, fuck,
WNBA.
you actually, I think it is
WHO?
no, it wasn't the WEF, it was the IMF. He wrote a paper for the IMF talking about fucking global trade for the like for the benefit of all, right? And in this paper, basically, like I went over it and shit, and basically, like this whole paper is like arguing that like if corporations are going to leave, you know, what I mean, what you have to do is you have to like allow you have to make the corporations buy the exclusive rights that like people of like the citizens of a nation have to like their fucking job market, right? So if you want to leave, you have to pay people. You know what I'm saying? So at least there's some benefit to the fucking workers who are left behind.
Oh, yeah. I mean, look, I think a lot of his talking points are very intelligent, especially in regards to economic shit. I mean, like, look, I mean, I think somewhere between Weinstein and Pol Pot, there's probably something to learn. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that, like,
He's not a psyop,
I hope
right? Like he spits like straight facts. Like he's like, listen, the baby boomers as a generation like are like they're too expensive. Their lifestyles become too expensive to continue forward. Right? Hang on, bro. Like, hang on a second, bro. I'm gonna throw this motherfucker on because like you got to
yeah,
see this shit's fucking amazing.
yeah. And look, I could take your point. I mean, here's the thing: is like I'll tell you one thing. Like, I have a problem with is like I don't like people being fucking landlords. I don't think that people should
I think we're
basically I think until there's like at least 80% home ownership in this country, nobody should be a fucking landlord. Like that's my opinion, like
no, you need landlords, right? Because you need like fucking you need to be able to have like a basic structure for people who aren't ready to buy a fucking home yet. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, but what I'm saying is like the fact that it's been so gamified. Like if you look at private equity, they've completely wrecked the ability for Americans
the
to
problem
own
is private
anything in this
equity.
country.
It's not landlords. Like back in the day, you used to have like landlords, and I mean, you could rent an apartment for like $350, $400 a fucking month.
Yeah, I'm not saying in theory it shouldn't work, but what I'm saying is like in practice, it's totally wrecked this fucking country.
No, no, no,
like
no.
it would force everybody to. It would force inflation down because people
Get
actually
rid
are
of
investing in
private
the.
equity.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
number
well, that's
one.
not going to happen unless you have like a wall and people face it. I mean, that's just straight up. So,
No,
like,
I mean,
that's
well,
not going to
maybe,
go away.
but
That's the baby
there
boomers.
are. It's kind of like you need someone in charge who actually gives a fuck about people and is willing to take a
And
wrecking
is
ball
willing to put people in front of a wall and
Yeah,
some of
I
the
mean-
walls. No, not necessarily. But
Listen, all
when
right,
it comes
listen.
to
This is
housing-
all covered in this shit. Hank. We're gonna fucking play this. We'll play this like yo, and like. I mean, you need to hear this fucking Neurojack because like this is one of the best conversations I've ever heard in my whole life. Like it's fucking great because Tom Belew's a complete piece of shit and Weinstein just basically chin checks him. It's amazing. Watch his shit.
to the point that normal porn has gotten really sick. That if you're not a prude about eroticism, some of the things that you're seeing pushed have to do with the fact that our brains are now habituated to all sorts of things that you probably would never have seen visually unless you were like Genghis Khan, right? Because everything's on demand. And so the search for novelty, I think, is taking, in some cases, quite a dark turn, even for people who are pretty okay with the idea of pornography and eroticism as being an important part of an adult diet for the mind.
Where it worries me as kids, for sure. And I'm maybe even less worried about today than I am in 15 years when you have VR that is bordering on photorealistic, and that's where
Photoshop whoever you want in, choose your own experience. That's very disturbing. But I'll be honest, I'm more concerned right now about people finding partners to have children with. I think that this is an economic epidemic that we don't feel comfortable talking about. And
aren't people comfortable talking about?
Well, because, for example, if you have a fair idea that you're at risk for not having the family thing work out, like it's gotten a little late in the day and you don't see a lot of prospects lined up, and you've had a few relationships that haven't ended in commitment and resources and children, and the economy doesn't seem to want to come up with a 30-year plan to fit a mortgage and getting some kids through college. I think that the transition from the previous world has been pretty brutal, and a lot of people don't want to say, yeah, I really want a family, and if it doesn't work out, it's going to be a major hit to my life and my sense of myself. And we need, in part, I think that a lot of us don't want to see young women forced onto the apps, which seems like it turns life into this ever-present.
From a dating perspective?
Yeah, it's just, somebody said, this is the singles bar in my pocket. And wherever I'm bored, I just go to the singles bar and start swiping. And I thought, okay, and how do you feel about it? He said, well, in the aggregate, I feel pretty terrible about that, but I can't stop. And so now you've commodified all of this stuff. And I don't think it's a good deal for young women at all. I think that, young women have been used to putting men through their paces and demanding a lot. And, saying, jump this high and seeing who can clear the bar. And when that power is not present, and when men can't win these competitions and have those competitions really mean something, we derange as a society, because society is about continuity, and continuity is about babies. So no matter what you want to do, you can take it away from babies. I remember I was talking to a young woman who was like 26 or something, and she asked me if I had kids, and I said yes. And I said, do you have kids? And she practically spit out her beer, what? And I thought, do you think it's really a crazy question that I would ask a 26-year-old woman if she had kids? And then, she thought about it. It just felt very remote. And this is the economy that we're bequeathing to people. And my belief is that if the median individual cannot count on being able to, have a home in a reasonable city that has lots of jobs, so that if one job doesn't work, they can switch, and one person can stay home. Doesn't have to be the dad, doesn't have to be a mom and a dad, any pair, but you need somebody with the freedom to stay home to raise children while somebody else can be counted upon to go be the breadwinner in an economy that isn't, absolutely razor's edge. This is nuts. And, it was driven home to me recently. My father turned 85. We were at a party for his friends, and some of their closest friends lived in our neighborhood when I was growing up. And they were saying, oh, yes, when we moved in all those years ago, there were 14 boys who used to play on the street, and now there are none.
Whoa.
And I said, what do you mean there are none? She said, well, young families can't afford to live on the street. And I said, do you have any thought in your mind that was a catastrophe that happened to your street, and that maybe your generation had some responsibility? This is the silent generation, so before the baby, had something to do to say, hey, maybe this is not good for society if young families. She said, well, these homes are perfect for families. And I said, but you just told me that there are no families on your street. So this is an epidemic, and this is deranging us, and this is a lot of what's behind this kind of sense of injustice and people trying to find groups, I think, to take care of, because you have got a lot of maternal instincts that are not grounding in happy, hopeful homes raising kids.
That's really interesting. What do you think is the sort of key driver? Is this student loans? Is it the average salary isn't going up? And part of what drives my question is I know what I pay. So my previous company, I had at one point 3,000 employees, about 1,500 full-time, and then another 1,500 part-time. Here I have 20 plus employees full-time, and then another, 7 or 8 part-time. And I know what I pay them, and it's a good wage. It's a hell of a lot more than I was making at their age. That's probably the easiest way to say it.
Okay.
So where is it that just the way that we are and what we pay is not indicative of what other companies pay? Is it something else?
Well, this is just going to be really kind of brutal. first of all, we were in an orchard with lots of low-hanging scientific fruit where you could take the scientific fruit and turn it into technology in short order. We're still making scientific advances, but most of those that are even fairly profound are not instantly convertible into technology. So there might be low-hanging fruit in a new orchard, but we haven't found the new orchard, so we're picking fruit that has a very different characteristic. So that's the first part, is that our pipeline got screwed up.
But how does that really play out in like dollars and cents? So I'm thinking of this street, right? It's the perfect analogy. So you have a street, the houses have a price to buy, they have a price to rent. So when I think about, okay, what is stopping somebody from either buying or renting? So if the prices are too high.
Prices are too high.
So then is it that the prices are artificially too high because we have a bunch of empty houses and people who are buying as an investment and they're just being stupid?
So you're fairly familiar with my theories and acronyms and things. So you've probably heard about the embedded growth obligation, the ego.
But what I get that, and that scares me, and I totally buy into it. What I don't, and for anybody listening, and tell me if I fuck this up, but like basically we have a system that's entirely predicated on continued growth, and that growth slowed down starting in the 70s or 80s, and we've done a lot of bullshit shell games to make it seem like we're growing. And the one that when you give, I'm always freaked the fuck out by, is the essentially Ponzi scheme of education.
Yep.
Where higher education, you're teaching people to be professors, but there's only going to be so many professors, or to law firms, only going to be so many partners. So it's like
every graph tells the same story.
So, but what I don't understand is if that's been the same since the 70s, like I didn't even graduate high school until the mid 90s. And this has nothing ever seen. I mean, look, there were times I couldn't quite pay my bills. There were times where, I was sharing an apartment with a bunch of people, but it's like, it never felt like the system had broken in some impossible way. And this isn't me saying that it isn't broken. This is me just saying, I want to really understand like where we've gone wrong.
Well, so this is what I say to my friends in San Francisco. So they've got good jobs. They're programmers. They're having a blast. They're going to Tulum and, traveling to Bali and all these things. And so I say, you're living in a group house. What do you think about buying your own home and asking that gal you've been going out with for a couple of years to get married? And like the conversation just gets really weird. Well, I'm not so confident that I can commit to a 30-year mortgage, and prices are insane, and I'm not positive that she's the right one for me, and all these things. Or if I talk to my female friends, they have a set of different stories, which is like, I'm so tired of little boys who never grow up.
Is this a psychological malaise? Like, because that explanation I can understand.
We're not excited about low variance futures needed for children as we see.
Because we don't see things popping off. Like, this isn't Beijing in 2006 where it's just like the sky's the limit, or?
Well, I think people have a pretty strong sense. Well, like I hired a millennial who I'm very good friends with. And I noticed that he was like not that committed to certain kinds of projects. He'd work hard, but he also had a very clear sense of, my obligation ends at this point. I said, well,
I know this person.
Okay.
I think they work here.
Okay.
Keep going.
And I said, well, why do we have a difference in a sense of work ethic? And he said, oh, because my generation watched your generation get screwed by the baby boomers, and we're not falling for it.
Do you buy that?
Yeah.
That sounds like bullshit to me.
Oh.
And
I agree.
And when I say I am happy to be convinced, what I want is the fucking truth, dude.
All right,
because
dude.
I have no interest
Let's get to the truth.
Let's get to the truth. Because so I have a psychotic work ethic. Why? Because I didn't used to, and my entire life changed when I changed my work ethic.
But look, it sounds to me like you're talking about founding companies.
I've done both. I've been an employee and I've founded companies. So I've played both sides of the fence.
And how did the employee, well, look, I don't want to over index on, because, there are particular lawyers in particular law firms who aren't founding anything, who are doing just fine, but it's a minority position. And what I believe is that we are in a situation in which we are not excited by the future, and the people who are real stakeholders in the system have in general been very focused on making sure that the pyramid is always supplied. So this idea, for example, of you have to go to college, the debt has to become non-dischargeable in bankruptcy. We get to load up the universities with administrators, all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, the main one, which is really bizarre, which is there's the secret weapon. And the secret weapon is immigration. And the great part about immigration as a invidious tool for one generation to screw another generation with is that if you call it out, there's only one explanation for why you would fight having other people added to the bottom of a pyramid scheme, which is you must be a xenophobe or probably a racist. And the answer is no, I'm really just trying to choke your supply of new virgins to add to this pyramid scheme so that you can continue to transfuse yourself.
Yeah, that's interesting. So let me see if I can steelman this quickly. This is the one time in my life where I am the one that has a hard out in 5 minutes. I'm so fucking horrified. This is so interesting to me. So I'll try to do it quickly. Okay, so we have a pyramid scheme in that there are only so many jobs, and I'll even abstract it from being a lawyer, which is very easy to understand. There's only so many people make partner. Being a teacher, it's easy to understand. You can only create so many other teachers. And obviously we're talking at higher education. And I'll just say your normal job. And I've told my employees this, like, look, every step you go up, there's fewer available positions until you get to the CEO, and there's only one. So there's only like, you can get promotion. I've never thought of there being sort of money does not strike me as the finite resource. The promotion strikes me as the finite resource. You can keep making more and more money depending on the health of the company and your contributions to it. So that's part of my bias, is that when I try to use just first principles, I'm like, if this person is that valuable to me, I'm going to fucking pay them because I have fear of loss. I don't want to lose them. So, which is why I default to create fear of loss in your employer if you want more money. But the company has to be doing well. So let me stick to the Ponzi scheme here. So very interesting take on immigration. So you have people coming into the system. They're willing to work cheaper than the other people would otherwise work in the system.
You got to be careful about that, but keep going.
It's interesting. I'm trying to represent your position.
No. But what I'm trying to say is that really the biggest issue is push out the labor supply curve. You
say that another way.
Your wage is your price.
Yep. And I bring people from foreign countries to make sure you can't compete because they'll do it for cheap. Yes?
No, it's not even that. I mean, maybe the idea is that you're a superior source of labor.
Who's you?
Whoever you are, you're the domestic. Let's assume that you're a worker inside of the U.S.
Yep.
The big play, in some sense, of the previous generations, the silent generation, and more importantly, the baby boomers, was internationalism, which they called globalization. And the hidden part of globalization that wasn't the United Colors of Benetton was the idea if we can just break our dependence on each other and look abroad and tell a beautiful story about what we're going to do for Africa and Asia, then the idea is that we can continue to grow our slice of the pie, even though the pie might not be growing at the same rate. Because from my perspective, as a silent generation or baby boomer, I'm focused on a slice, not the pie. And so there was a huge amount of value gotten from tricking people into thinking that globalization was this beautiful Davos-inspired kind of philanthropy that was going to be a rising tide to raise all boats. And those Americans who had rights inside of our system, and this goes for Brits who had British rights and French who had French rights, whatever, had a right that was valuable, which is I have asymmetric access to my labor market. And that's how we worked as a nation. So now you start the world's greatest PR campaign, which is patriotism doesn't exist. It's only nationalism. And of course, nationalism is really ultranationalism, which is jingoism, which is a precursor to Nazism. So you start saying, you know, I kind of believe in citizenship and patriotism, and now you're telling me that I'm a bad person. And now you've got the Davos crowd talking about financial inclusion in Africa and Asia, and you notice that they're not really that interested in Michigan or Alabama. And tell
me why they're not, because I felt like I understood it until you told me that I was getting
because
it wrong.
The amount of value, you see, if I had to purchase your rights.
Uh-huh.
And I wrote a paper
to what?
Well, your asymmetric access to your labor market. Okay. I wrote a paper called "Migration for the Benefit of All," published in the International Journal of Labor. I forget what the title is. Migration for the Benefit of All, which said if you pay people for their rights, like if the baby boomers in silence said, look, we think we can get better labor outside and we want to pay you for the right to shop elsewhere, then the idea is that everybody would have been better off and we would have all screamed kumbaya at each other as we got rich together. But instead what they said is you're a protectionist and a jingoist and a xenophobe. We loaded them up with as much negative imagery as we could You're just a bad person.
And they were doing that, though, so they can get cheaper labor, right? So they can keep you from having leverage.
But you keep saying it as
employee.
we're willing to work below. But my point is that if this coffee mug cost $10, and now we have 10,000 coffee mugs, it's not that those coffee mugs are willing to be bought for less. The entire cost of coffee mugs plummets. It's just pushing out the supply curve on labor and wages its price. So it behaves much as supply and demand should. Now, you can then point out, you can make lots of other arguments like, well, some of these people are starting business and people are not coffee mugs. And these are the most vibrant members of our, so, you cue Stars and Stripes forever, you put your right hand over your heart. But the key point is that all of these arguments were necessary to keep the institutional structure going as the Ponzi scheme ran out. And a lot of this has to do with what I've called fake growth, downsizing, offshoring, immigration, securitization. It's just this mind-numbing parade of different techniques that these older generations have used to keep a system afloat that has been saying, we're exhausted. Like the law firms are supposed to fail. The universities are supposed to fail. All sorts of the newspapers don't make sense as a business model. And things that you're creating and that we all might create would be replacing these things. But instead what we've done is we've come up with an exotic kind of economic parabiosis where we're going to transfuse our fellow Americans and the younger generations to pay for a group of people who are just far too expensive to keep living in the style to which they have unjustly become accustomed. So I'm sorry about your hard stop, but I think that there's a tremendous amount to be excited about and enthusiastic about because in essence, getting back to your original point, you're right about the Matrix. For 50 years, we've been in a constellation of ideas, suppressing the really interesting new ideas and calling names on anybody who would propose ideas that would point out the unstable nature of our market democracy. And right now what we're doing is we're living through the beginning of a global low-grade revolution of a type that we've never seen before.
If you like that clip, check out the full powerful episode here.
Fucking all the way based.
Yeah, listen, this is, bro, look, okay, if that's a psyop, I want more of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's the psyop Mossad Jew agent telling you everything's fine, nothing ever happens, right?
Yeah,
like, I don't understand that. Take it all. It's like you never watched.
Yeah, bro. Like, yo, Weinstein is the most base motherfucker on the internet. I'm gonna keep it a bean, bro. Like, if that's a psyop, like, yo, listen, I'm down. Let me get in the institution. I'll help.
Sure. Well, here's the argument. Then here's the argument. How is he going to actually enforce anything he's talking about? How's he going to get these people to give up?
Oh my God, bro! Like
the power,
what are you
power
talking
that
about?
they have.
What are you talking about?
You're right. You won me over. He's obviously an agent because he's not actively going to everyone.
I didn't say that. I said, okay. I said, let's run with your thing that he's based. How's he going to enforce what he's talking about?
You see how many views are on this video? 1.1 million.
I don't buy that, but let's just assume that that's true.
No, it is true. 1.1 million views on this video.
By talking about the verboten subject.
Yeah.
And bringing it to light and making it a discussion. Like, that's all you can really do.
Yeah, it's what you have to do, bro. Like, literally, you pass through memes. You create
fucking
memes.
Education.
Yeah, memes fucking, like, spread like a fucking cancer in the system.
Sure, well, I mean, I get what you guys are saying, but I just don't
He's not a Mossad agent, bro. Stop it.
Like, you can literally point this video at people and they can get a full-on re-education
100%
on how they view shit, how shit is going.
Well, isn't re-education kind of communistic? So are we?
No. We are
what?
literally here to like fucking re-educate everybody. That is our job. That is literally our job. That's your job. That's my job. That's Mountain's job. Yoda's here to troll. But like, you know what I mean? Like fucking that is our job, is to re-educate
Here,
people.
let's put it in Zoomer acceptable terms. In fucking corporate brain dead jargon. Think different. Just do it.
Sure.
Pumpkin latte.
We've had 40 or 50 years of basically Europeans not having kids, and you know, we're kind of in a bad mood. The only good news is that the whole rest of the world is catching up to us pretty quickly. So
No, the rest of the world has bypassed
from that point of
us.
view,
China's way worse.
all we have
Japan's
to
way
do-
worse. The South America's way
Japan,
worse.
South Korea's fucked.
Yo, Malaysia,
Germany's fucked.
Indonesia.
yeah, I
There's a lot of countries
agree.
fucked.
I agree for
We
sure.
can all be unfucked as long as we just all bring the synergy.
China.
Sure, and I mean, look,
China's
I'm
so
not even.
bad, it's
I'm
fucking
kind of
crazy.
joking about him being a Mossad agent. I don't really care if he is or not. To me, it's not like I'm not like looking for a Jew behind every bush or something. I'm just making the point that, you know, the average American is either actually a retard or functionally a retard because they don't understand what this dude is talking about. They don't care. They're just trying to get through their day and pay their stupid fucking mortgage that's, you know, 3 times the cost of what the fucking house should be, right? So, you know,
That's where the new
how are you going to
generation
fix
comes
that?
in.
You know what I mean?
By
Like, you're basically
spreading the right message instead of just nodding and agreeing or
yeah,
walking away.
but this is like a
disconnected.
100-year project of basically making Europeans, you know, slaves in their own fucking country, and I just don't see how that's going to be reversed in the next, you know,
So give up.
40 years.
Yeah, again,
No,
like,
but I'm just saying, like, let's have a
listen,
realistic view of like how hard it's going to be. Like,
yeah.
you're going to need a Pol Pot or 500. You know what I mean?
No.
Like,
What you're
that's the only way
gonna
you're going to
need
get
is
there.
somebody to
Personally.
chin check the fucking boomers. That's what you need.
Yeah, well, the boomers don't have power other than the fact that they control the government and
all the wealth.
people have guns.
They literally
essentially.
control all the wealth.
Yeah, well,
all
I
of
mean,
it.
a French Revolution will solve that, but I'm just saying that like that's not good either because what's going to happen is
No.
you're
We
going to
don't
have
need
a
we
bunch
don't
of
need a
retards
French
who are gonna-
Revolution. We just need to tell them to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, look, I hear you 100%.
Well, they're just
on the
going to
Pol
die
Pot
off.
bill.
I mean, that's the only way it's going to happen.
Well,
I mean,
30 years, but the issue with, you know, Mr. H and Mr. P coming to town and doing their thing is that when you create a drastic vacuum, bad shit comes up.
oh, I
real
know.
quick.
I'm not glorifying what's going to be coming after that. I think it's going to probably be a lot worse. That's my
And
point, though. Is I think
predicting
that
it is also misguided. It's not going to
well,
happen. People are
not
way
really.
too fat,
look
lazy.
look at Russia. Russia's totally fucking fucked. Look at China. They're totally fucking fucked. They've been totally raped and bent over, and I think America's next up if we don't really be careful because
The frog is
look at
boiled.
England.
The best
Look
thing.
at England. Look at England.
I
England's
know.
totally raped in the
Well,
ass, dude.
they're
Like,
fucked. They
Yo,
should be
Pig
having a
Sticker,
fucking
whose
fight.
mic-
We don't
whose
need to
mic is
fight.
really
What we
bad,
can
bro?
do is share ideas.
Yeah, whose mic is really bad, Pig Sticker?
I don't know. Check.
Yeah, I don't know which one it is.
it might be me.
I'm not sure.
But yeah, I'm not actually coming at you guys. By the way, I'm just trying to mention that. I'm just trying to say that like
we're just
you know,
talking.
I'm just saying that like you know, I don't think we have much choice as to whatever is going on. I think that there's just not a lot of smart people, and so what I'm really saying is this: like, if Weinstein is right, he should be grabbing people like us and helping us get into positions of power because the way things are is we're ruled by a bunch of fucked up people, and they're not going to let go of that power. Like, they're just not going to fucking let go of it, you know? So that's just the truth. Like, you're going to have to drag their ass out of whatever positions they're in, you know? Because they're not going to give up all that money and power willingly, you know?
Okay, yeah. Listen. I probably just had to like fucking mute to one side. Is that better now? Say some shit.
Everything's normal to me.
Okay, yeah, cool. All right, cool. And listen, no. It's again trying to work out my sound settings on this bitch. Fucking is retarded. You know what I mean? Like fucking, my computer won't switch over to use the like specifically just, you know what I mean, like the fucking headphones. You know what I mean? Like it will only play the YouTube out of the fucking speakers, right? Or it won't let you hear fucking Discord out of the fucking speakers or out of the headphones on the fucking mic. It's fucking dumb. Anyway, but like, yeah, listen, bro. Like, yo,
That's right, ladies and
Weinstein.
gentlemen. Like, comment, subscribe to Boomer Streams.
Yeah, Weinstein is beast mode, bro. Like that motherfucker is probably like the best, right? Out of like everybody, you know what I mean? Who's like having these conversations, he's probably the best of all of them.
I mean, I agree. I enjoy listening to him more than almost anyone else in this general vicinity. So I'm not, again, I'm not saying that like, fuck him, he's a Jew or something like that. I'm not really saying that. I'm simply saying that, you know, they're not really looking, they're not gonna reach a hand down and pull us up to even help themselves.
No,
I really don't. I have a hard time believing that's
it's about memes, right? So here's the thing, right? If I can say my piece.
I don't.
When we're young and we're in school, we tend to admire the guy with the bad attitude, don't give a fuck. Oh, he's always in the principal's office. There's something attractive about that low energy, right? The rebel. And we're also kind of afraid to stick out and be made fun of for a time being. Not everybody, but most of us can kind of identify with this, mindset. Like we don't want to, put our neck out. We don't want to stick out to be hammered down and made fun of and embarrassed. Like we're all kind of squeamish about that. And the way it takes form in adult iterations now, modern times, is we capitulate to the woke bullshit. And it's just gotten out of fucking hand. And the way to fight this back is to just simply share these ideas and not nod and just go along with dumb shit. When you hear it, fucking call it out. Point people in this direction if they have a question. Like, obviously, you can't just go around forcing, truth down everybody's throat. But if you hear someone that genuinely is questioning shit, be like, why don't you watch this? This shit actually made so much sense to me, and I think it'll explain a lot, and it'll be easier than me trying to talk through it. And
yeah,
just
I agree.
Take a base
I
clip
agree
and
with
fucking
you.
share it.
I
It
agree
does
with
a
you.
lot.
But here's
share
what
it with 2 people.
Here's what I think as well. Like he's sitting there lamenting, like, oh, these tech bros, they don't want to go and get a woman pregnant and this and that. It's like, I met a lot of these people, and honestly, like, I don't know that they should be getting a lot of women pregnant. You know what I mean? And so, why aren't they helping those of us that actually want to go and do this shit?
Well,
To have more money and have a position of power and shit.
Like,
You know what I mean?
the whole point is, right, is that, like, it's not stable enough for any of us to be able to produce children, right, is the issue.
I know. That's what
It's a runaway card, dude.
yeah.
You can't stop it on a dime. This is a runaway card. It's like 1 foot forward, you walk 1 foot at a time.
Okay.
Left foot, right foot, right? Like we all kind of have to, one, get involved with the reason that shit's so fucked up is that we were all coasting. We all had this attitude like voting's stupid, George Carlin's right, I can't be blamed if I don't get involved. It was somebody else's fault. Like it doesn't matter what you do anyway. Like this whole attitude of do nothing and it'll just work out the way it's going to anyway without my involvement. We kind of have to take some fucking responsibility for the way shit turns out in the bigger picture.
Yeah, I mean,
I agree with you, by the way.
The problem that we're ultimately running into, right, is the set it and forget it attitude that we've had, right? So basically, like, they fucking stood here and said, like, listen, we're going to set up Social Security. And when they did so, you had 30 people paying for, like, one motherfucking person, right? We're down to, like, fucking 2.1 people paying for every Social Security recipient, right? And then on top of that, you had this 401k structure put in where, like, everybody just put money in and then magically it went up. Nobody understood how any of this shit worked, right? But it had to keep going. Like this is the fucking embedded growth obligation, the ego thing that he was talking about, right? So like you have to keep these fucking markets continuing to go up, even though we're not creating new shit, right? We're not adding any new value to anything.
Yeah, because the people who designed it so they will always win at the expense of anybody else.
Oh my god, that's not it. That's not it at all. It's literally like the system isn't producing anything new. Like our economy isn't actually producing anything of any value. Right? There's nothing.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Is like the GDP has to go up. Right.
Sublimates any innovation. Because the only way you can keep the system to keep going is to make sure that the old shit that already exists continues to pump numbers.
Yeah,
It's the same reason Hollywood pumps out the same fucking movies and doesn't take chances because hey, this sold well before, let's just resell it again.
Yeah.
This time make everyone black and gay and fat. That'll work, right? That's what the kids say on the interwebs. That's what they like. Like it's all fucking retarded.
Right. Yeah. So like literally like it's this embedded growth obligation where like, you know, what they have to do in like in the market is stand here and find ways to continue to create like these economic fucking schemes, like derivatives, for instance. Right. I don't know if you know what like a derivative actually is. But like basically what it is you take something that has like inherent value like a house, right? And you get like a mortgage on that fucking house. And then like that mortgage on the house is paying interest. That interest is a fucking derivative of like the fucking actual payment for the fucking house, right? The actual transaction. And then like what you do is you take that and you fucking bundle it up with a whole bunch of other fucking mortgages. You take it, cut it into fucking slices, and you sell it off at different banks, and they each offer fucking dividend things. But the people who manage these fucking funds are all making money off of this, right? And like these things here are owned by like fucking, you know what I mean, like 401ks and pension funds for like, you know, like school teachers and police and fucking firefighters and union guys or whatever it is, right? And so like all these people, in order to continue to get like their fucking retirement check, you have to keep this shit going. Right. And there's so many people invested in this that the government fucking makes sure that it keeps fucking going, because it's basically now the same as like Social Security or the same as the military, right? It has to be fucking paid for. Right.
It's a fucking Ponzi scheme. And when there aren't enough people coming in at the bottom, they make it the fuck up to make it work.
Yeah.
And to your point, the collateralized debt obligations, which were the MBS derivatives, mortgage-backed securities, what they did was they sold them worldwide through Wall Street. So a mortgage bank would write a loan. The mortgage would get funded. They'd securitize it the next day. In other words, package it and sell it to Wall Street. And they'd put it in one of these CDOs. And then you had CDOs that were collateral for other CDOs. They're called CDO squared, where you had one mortgage that if it defaulted, two fucking funds would lose revenue. And they had that priced into the risk, which is why they were rated. Now, here's where it got interesting. Everything was AAA rated. Good to go.
Even though like half the fucking borrowers were like fucking had credit of like 500. Right, but like
this was the day of the ninja loan where you could literally fog a mirror and get a mortgage.
Right, and this is how the 2008 thing happened, right? But like ultimately, like this shit kept going and it turned into like rental backed securities, right? Which is what you bitch about, right? Where it's like, oh my god, the rental fucking prices are so fucking high and all this type of shit. Well, yeah, you know what I mean, because it's all securitized, right? Like every fucking rental contract that gets created ends up going to fucking Wall Street and becoming a part of a fucking
But the thing is like, but look, and again, for any feds or anybody who might be listening to this, I'm not advocating for this. I'm just simply making the argument that, you know, if there's no guillotines for people that are, you know, scamming, you know, a billion people essentially, you know, to put it mildly, you know,
they're doing it
what's
essentially.
the incentive for them to stop doing it?
No,
I mean,
you don't understand.
Kind of doesn't solve anything.
No.
Like people have to be educated. Literally, life is always buyer beware.
Wait. These people who are doing this, right? Like you have to understand, they're providing like an essential service, right? They're actually doing a positive thing, right? Because like
the alternative is systemic collapse.
Yeah.
Well,
but the system makes everyone stupid.
Hold on.
So
But you've already admitted that we are in the process of systemic collapse. When 50% of women are not having children, that is a collapse. I mean, there's
that's slowly getting to the iceberg. Systemic collapse in the form of financial meltdown is like literally truck stop rolling and the market.
No. Imagine this scenario, right? So like here's how bad it is. Okay. Imagine that like all this shit stops tomorrow, all this like financial fuckery, right? What happens on day 2 is all the pension funds and the fucking bonds that are holding up the fucking pension funds fucking collapse, right? And then day 3, like these people who are supposed to like, you know what I mean, like have the ability to like pay their mortgage or pay their electric bill or pay their fucking school taxes can't do so. Right. And then day 4, like the fucking local government police are not getting fucking paid. And your firefighters are not getting fucking paid. And the fucking like the basic structure of your fucking local township and your fucking cities are not getting fucking funded. Right. You don't understand how fucking deep this shit fucking goes, bro. It gets to the point where it's literally anarchy. I've lived this. I have lived this before. This has happened to me before in this very city I'm in right now. where literally all the fucking jobs left. My city declared fucking bankruptcy. I was the first city in the world to declare bankruptcy. Right?
It's happening in Puerto Rico right now. They're having fucking trouble keeping the lights on.
Yeah.
Like shit's fucked up there.
Like
and
literally
that's
like
part of the US.
Yo, it got so it's so fucking bad here that like literally like a fucking one of the terracotta plumbing pipes fucking washed out and they're broke, and then it washed out the fucking hill and a parking lot collapsed on a local business, right? And this fucking local business fucking ended up having cars inside of it, right? And the roof collapsed. This happened back in 2006. It just now reopened this year. Well, last year, 2024, right? And because the fucking government, like they were found at fault, but they said we can't pay. Right? Literally, like the plumbing is just leaking into the goddamn fucking river and shit. Because they can't fix anything. They had no idea. They don't even know where the fucking plans are. Right? Like fucking the gunshot cameras that were supposed to go off every time gunshots went off. Literally, they fucking batteries went off in them. Right? And the people started just stealing them from the poles and using them for live streaming. Right? This shit is deep. Like, you don't understand how bad it can fucking get.
I mean, I agree with you, and unfortunately, I forced myself not to think about how bad it can get because it would really drive me insane because I know that the system is actually much more fragile than people realize, right? And I hope that these people figure something out because I don't think that there's any glorification in what's going to happen if they don't. Like, it's going to get.
We have to figure it
fucked,
out and then demand it. That's
Yo,
my
yo.
point. Is
Wait,
that
wait.
you get involved and you kind of decide what's best and say, this is what we fucking need. You deliver it.
Well, like, here's the thing, though, right? If they stop doing this financial fuckery, the whole thing collapses. We are fucking reliant upon them. That's the bitch. Right? Like, literally the whole
Yeah, I agree.
system
I agree with you on
being
that.
carried by them.
I agree with you on that.
Right?
I agree. And again, I think this is why the whole anti-Semitism and the Jews, blah blah blah. You know, that's the short-sightedness that a lot of people think. Because like, even if they're correct, what you're saying is more correct because you're not going to just get rid of this overnight. Because if you do, you might take out 3 billion people in 3 years or at least, right? I mean, that's just straight up like you said. Like, there's just no way that.
I mean, like, imagine, like,
people are
so,
going to
like,
survive very well.
here's okay. I'm closer to this than a lot of people are, right? You know what I mean? Because, like, like, I have, like, a father who, you know what I mean, is you know what I mean, like, not real well financially, right? My parents aren't well off. And so, like, the essential, like, the basic services to help him be able to, like, survive, you know what I mean? And, like, the people around him, my neighbors and shit, get, like, Meals on Wheels and stuff. If all this stopped, these people starve to death. That's where we are, right? These motherfuckers literally starve to death, right? And you're talking about like killing like people, you know what I mean? And these people are being kept alive by this fucking system. So this is kind of where we are.
I agree with you.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Right. And so like inherently, like you have to understand like these, like at this point, like it's such a fucking diabolical mess because like we've made a lot of promises we can't fucking keep. And that's because like we've had an attitude. This fundamentally started, right, when the continent was opened up for discovery and settlement of the United States. Right. This is like the fault of the geography. And like when all the people from like Europe went to the US and then like when they went from the East Coast to the West Coast, the kids left the old, right? And that's why Germany was the first place to put in Social Security. They're the first people to put in old age insurance. And that's because all the young people left. You know what I mean? So they were not there to take care of the old, which is like the standard way that this has happened for like fucking, I don't know, 3 million years or whatever the fuck it is. We've been fucking a species, right? And we got real accustomed to that, where like you could just leave your parents and be an independent of like all the things that like you're supposed to be. This is why I talk about communitarianism. This is why I have the ideas that I have, because I know fundamentally that you're going to have to band together with your family to fucking make it, because if not, your family's not going to make it and you're going to be asked the fuck out when you get old. Your kids are going to have to take care of you because like none of this shit's going to be available. this is where this is. We got to have these conversations. And I mean, and it has to start like fundamentally understanding what's broken and like fucking putting in structures that'll fix it. And that's why Eric's great.
That's the original pyramid scheme.
Yeah, and
that actually fucking works because
Right.
it's scaled. You try and scale it like to a national and global level. I mean, go figure. When someone like this is one of the criticisms where Marx was actually right. If you divorce a man from his labor, he just doesn't give a fuck. Like the craftsman takes pride in his work as his hands are on. But if you're on an assembly line, it's just another piece. And if you're just part of a fucking bureaucracy stamping letters and you have no idea what the fuck anything is or why, who cares? You're just a number on a.
I know that you guys have worked in blue collar work, and I'm not the most blue collar guy, but I've done enough to know that, like, I don't really have a problem.
I've been both, just so you know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I've done both, and you know, I'm trying to think of a nice way to put this, but
So is Tom. You're not going to offend anybody here.
No, it's not that. It's more just like I don't want to just say something that just sounds stupid. But basically, I would put it like this: like like if I go become a plumber tomorrow, right? Like I mean, the truth is, I'm going to be working with a bunch of people who are not from this country. They don't speak my language. They legit just want to loot this fucking country, and I know because like I talked to them many times.
You're thinking carpenters. The plumbers are largely domestic.
Not where I live at, but I live in Commeyville, so I mean, but yeah,
fair enough.
Well, but definitely, if you know where there's a bunch of people like me, that are hiring for a plumber, let me know. I'll probably go there. But I'm just saying that, like, the point is of like I choose a trade and then I go join. It's like I'm dealing with a bunch of people that don't have the same values as me. It's going to be kind of hard to rally those people. And like I've been in a situation where like people in a union and shit, and most unions. The idea of it is good, but the reality of it is you have a bunch of fucked up, lazy drug addicts that hide behind the union, and you have a lot of people on the top of the union who are using it for political clout that are selling out their own people. Now, I think that really a labor movement would have been the way to go, kind of what you're saying about Marx, and unfortunately, it's just too late. Like I think like they're trying to disaffect us from having any sort of labor movement in this country. And
I mean, you can't have a labor movement without like a shortage of labor, right? Like, so that's kind of the problem, right? Is that's that whole you push out the fucking push out the supply curve on labor, right? If when you have less people, you can have a labor movement. So you got to get the immigrants the fuck out. Number one, right? That's first and fucking foremost at the end of the day.
Right? Yeah, no, that's kind of what I'm trying to say in a nice way. So yeah,
like you got to get the immigrants the fuck out first, right? Did you hear about the town of Mississippi back in like 2018 that ICE went through and raided a giant fucking chicken fucking plant? Hear what happened? Hear about this?
I've heard a little bit about such things, but I don't know if that one specifically.
All right, so basically, like ICE came in and ran through like a giant chicken plant. Apparently, they didn't pay their fucking dues to the ICE agents, so like they ran through and cleared out all the Mexicans. They had a black town there, right, where the crime was massive and like everybody was impoverished and shit was fucked up and families were terrible. In 6 months, there was no crime and like the town was fine. Everything was back to like what it was in the 1950s.
Yeah, I believe it for sure.
Right.
And just a note about unions. I've been in a union, a very well-functioning one. And bad unions are a scourge on the surface of our planet, and good unions are a great benefit. So the thing to do, in my opinion, is bring it up to the main heads of the actual organization. So if it's just a place that's local that's not doing the right thing, air them out. Because that doesn't help anybody. Fuck them. Like if you're literally doing the wrong thing, fuck you.
I mean, like what needs to happen, right? Is like you need to have like your union actually like be fucking like a local fucking union that does its fucking job, and like you have to have people who are participating in the union, right? Because I was in the USW for like, I don't know, probably like 6, 7 years or something like that. And literally, like, none of us went to the union meetings. Like, none of us actually like participated in shit. And the only people who did were shitbags, right? And so, like, we got fucked. You know what I mean? If you don't participate, that's what the fuck you get.
Well, yeah. Well, and just to back up Mountain before, like I'm a law and order person more or less as well. Like, I mean, I think that there's a lot of corruption in it, but in general, like I'm not advocating for like, chaos or some shit. But definitely I think that like I've been making this argument for at least 6 or 7 years that a lot of these kind of right-wing conservative alt-right people, I was like, why don't you just go to all these local politician meetings, infiltrate the Republican Party or even Democrat Party, buy yourself a politician. It's way cheaper and more effective than almost anything else you can do. I mean, and I don't want to tell people to go and blackmail politicians, but I mean that's how shit is getting done, right? So I'm just saying that like there's never any realistic conversations about how they're actually going to get certain things done. But like what you guys are saying here, I agree with. Is like I cannot even get anybody my age and younger, and I'm in my mid 30s, I would say. So it's like they
Organized
just
shit.
don't think that way. You know what I'm saying? Like they just don't think that way. So it's like
I literally went out and helped canvass for my mayor that was running on my own dime. Didn't cost much. Just fucking drive down to the town, get out my car, take a bag of swag, and go door to door and campaign. Like if everyone does a little bit, it adds up.
Well, actually, I
And I
thought I
think
thought of like a better way to do it. Like, your best way of doing it would like basically be like just take over a parking lot on like a weekend and just cook steaks for everybody and give speeches.
yeah, cookout, man,
Yeah,
something fun, a car
everybody,
show. There's a
everybody,
million things to do.
everybody loves a good steak. Simple.
Yep.
well, I'll put it
Oktoberfest.
this way too. Like when if you can make the hose go, you can make everything else go. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of what you're saying there.
I wouldn't
Like
make it a singles event. You can't get a message out because then everybody's
oh
simping for
no
the
no
girl.
no. Well, I mean, I'm not saying like that, but I mean like in general, what I'm saying is like men who have female attention are more motivated to get shit done. Does that make sense?
I
So
kind of I think just get the families involved. You want families to show up that to listen to you because they're
yeah,
the
I
ones who have
mean,
skin in the
I'm not
game.
talking about degeneracy per se. I'm just saying that like I mean I mean, I don't want to get too into it, but I'm saying like generally speaking, men with families are being neutered by their wives. So I'm just saying that like, it's I don't want to get
Hey,
too
man.
convoluted, but
Well,
but
yeah,
Not
yeah,
at
but
yeah. I
all.
mean, like that's
yeah,
a
you
all
know
right.
what I'm
So
saying.
here's the problem, right? And this is actually the issue. I wrote about this in like that. I don't know, like I think like our last piece or the piece before that. Basically, like you know what, bro? Like I was literally just looking. Yeah, listen, check us out. All right, so I'll read you what I wrote because this is fucking, you know what I mean, like really simple. This is often not explained well, so allow me to go on for a bit of a tangent for a second. When industrialization happened, men and families were expected to be responsible for their households and the people within. They were given no instructions on how to go from having a wife who was a mutual partner in the family structure to a person who was basically a hostage or a child. I say this because we industrialize our labor in the household, i.e., refrigerators, plumbing, washers, dryers, electric ovens, grocery stores, vacuum cleaners, and cars, just to name a few. These appliances made what a woman did all day long or even over the course of a few days, like going to the well to get water, making bread, gardening, butchering, lighting a wood stove, walking to a market, and carrying back food. Tasks that could have been done, made them into tasks that could have been done in an hour or so, give or take. Add to that the basic structures of suburbs and grocery stores, taking away the need for social interaction. The woman formed sewing circles or books clubs, but honestly, you can sew or read on your own. These tasks were no replacement for the Connors growing blueberries. If you want blueberries, you have no choice but to interact with the Connors. These basic bonds form long-term social structures that held people's morals in place. This also allowed for women not to be bored. Boredom for anyone, male or female, is cancer. Think about what you do when you're bored. The average person, if you are alone and an adult finds a nice spot in bed and opens a Pornhub or eats food they don't need, or they do drugs or drink or worse. So now the man has to entertain his woman in the same way he does his kids. Here is this activity. Here are these chores, etc. This is why women think they were abused, neglected, and treated as second-class citizens, and why men look to the time with nostalgia. He basically had a living sex slave with no social connections and no safety net, right? And this is what we did. You know what I mean? Like, this is the structure that we created as like people, right? In the end of the day. So when we created this structure, like fucking, you know what I mean? Like, we ended up like having women who were just sitting around bored as shit, not doing anything. You know
Well,
what I
that's
mean?
why the Sacklers made Valium.
Oh,
It all worked out.
it didn't.
Well,
Right?
and now we have the ultimate crack. Now we have the ultimate crack in the house, which is a smartphone with social media and infinite male attention. So, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, right.
Lovely.
You know what I mean? So like literally she has like the backing of the government because she's the number one consumer in America. She's like the top consumer in America, right? And like the backing of every simp that works in the government because 99% of people who seek political office have a small penis and a fucking Napoleon complex. You don't fucking stand here and do these type of things unless you have some type of fucking like real defunct ass problem, which is some genetic issue.
So Jack, here's where you put your faith, right? In the based kids. If you remember being a teenager, questioning, rejecting narratives, right? Not the retards like a little Zan or whatever, some fucking amoeba. Like actual people that are just young people. They're ready to take the mantle. They're ready to avoid the trappings and failures of those before them.
I
They look
totally
around at
agree.
shit, right? Like these are the people. This is who we're speaking to.
But
We're not here
I
to
will
talk to
tell you,
boomers like to understand the math all of a sudden. They're not gonna.
yeah, I totally agree with you. The only thing I'm trying to get at is like, I think, and again, this is my problem with like people like Andrew Wilson. And again, I don't even know how deep this goes, but I suspect it's really deep. But
Mm.
they're purposefully hyping these kids up in order to get them to lower their defenses because for whatever reason, I don't know exactly why, but I definitely think that it's going to be up to us to basically create a culture that neutralizes whatever BlackRock is trying to get done, because I definitely think that they're trying to hype them up into like a false trad Catholic whatever the fuck, you know what I mean? Like,
No.
BlackRock.
No. It's not
Hold on a
BlackRock,
second.
bro.
Hold on a
Go ahead,
second.
go ahead.
Wait. Really important. Really important. His
or
nickname
whatever it is, you
is
get the idea.
Gas Station Matt Walsh.
Say
That's
what now?
important. Andrew Wilson's nickname is Gas Station Matt Walsh. First of all. Second of all, oh shit, I lost my train of thought. But go ahead, Tom. I'll get it back. Fucking
Yeah,
boomer
so
moment.
like this whole like running back to religion thing is a natural reaction, right? Okay, so
Yeah,
back
look, I'm a
Search
Christian. I'm
search
just
for
saying that
meaning
like
is
I
real.
don't think a lot of these people that are saying they're Christian and care about traditional values give a fuck about it. I think it's a
no, it's
fucking
not, yo,
big
it's not that,
grip,
right? It's not that at all, right? What it is this, okay? Religion isn't culture, right?
I remember now.
Yeah, religion is not culture. Basically religion like fucking is the like fucking the fucking the mold of your culture. It's a death mask of your culture, right? As it were, right? Like it holds your culture in place. And so like people are running back to religion because like, they fucking want a fucking culture. They want a community. They want a family. They want all these things, right? That make sense, right? Like it makes perfect sense to like fucking, go like, oh man, listen, I remember like when I was a kid, like everybody met at the church and all these type of things, right? But the thing is they had communities before that. Like before like the religion, before all the bullshit, right? They had communities and cultures and like ways of life. Like literally like all these things were built pre-religion and the religion solidified it, right? And so like running a religion is not a solution. That's the fucking bitch, right? Religion's not going to save you. Jesus won't save you on this one.
No, Islam could because it comes with a prescription for all your daily behaviors, and you kind of have no
Yes.
choice. It compels you to form a community. I
Yeah,
remember what I was going to say.
I get it.
Hold on a second. So, just the Andrew Wilson and those guys kind of thing. I think it's a human reaction because he's somewhat acting out of frustration because all he's doing is facing off with like these retards. So he's probably got that animus just because that gets frustrating, but they're compelled to do so because their income depends on, continuing the show. So they're kind of in this audience capture loop, I think, is where that's at. And I think they are generally well intentioned. There's just no fucking end to this content. Like you can't exhaust it and move on. Like it
Yeah, I
doesn't
get it.
stop.
I
But
give
the other
them.
the other thing is, wait,
Yeah.
hold on. When I mentioned before the whole thing about like being embarrassed to speak up as a kid, what I was really referring to is like this kind of making it cool to be dumb has to come to an end. Like, be smart, be educated. It's cool to fucking know shit. It's not cool to be like, look how cool, look how badly I failed at test. I am socially accepted
no,
now.
no, no,
Like
no,
that
no,
shit has to
no,
fucking
no,
go
no, no,
away.
no, 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 no. Listen. I think you're wrong about that, right? And we've been having this conversation about like the burden of information for a while, right? I think the average person doesn't need to know all this shit, right? And this is one of those points that fucking Middle Nation, the dude there makes, right?
Yeah, but it's not about knowing what we are talk about. It's about not purposely being a fucking retard.
No,
Like,
I
don't
mean,
glorify being
no,
stupid.
no, no,
Like,
no, no. Here's
know your job. Like, do your fucking role competently. Like, at the minimum.
okay.
Like
I
you're
mean,
saying, the masculine role model should be smart, essentially.
Competency.
no. That's fucking dumb.
Not
No,
confidence,
no,
fucking competence.
no.
Like be competent at
Yeah.
something.
Yo, listen, the
You know
masculine
what I
role
mean?
model should not be a nerd ever. That's the fucking most retarded shit. That's what got us in this fucking position. Is worshiping the fucking nerds, right?
Well, I agree with you on that point. Although, like, I'm definitely a nerd, but like, I've never played that role. I mean, I think Revenge of the Nerds is literally a horror movie, but
Yeah, I agree. Right. Like fucking
Booger.
basically like what it should be is that like you should have like male role models who are like yet competent and strong, right? And capable, right? And like just in general, like, fucking dudes, I mean, who are like responsible and have authority, right? That should be like your fucking male role model. Like we have to
Right.
like
And
lose this. We have to lose this liberal ideology about authority being vested in men. Yeah, I mean, because men need authority, and like that is literally the reward for most men for like taking responsibility is having authority and watching when you have authority and apply it properly, like what you're responsible for, watching it flourish, right? Like I have authority over my vehicle, which means I have responsibility for my vehicle. It means I need to wash it, I need to change the oil, I need to change the filters, I need to motherfucking make sure it gets its tune-ups and gets inspected. And I appreciate it.
yeah, I just had to do. I just had to do all that shit 2 days ago. It's
I gotta do mine this week.
huge amount of shit.
Yeah,
Okay.
but that's where trust the experts actually works because you don't have your wife or child change the oil because they're gonna fuck it up. Like you have to leave it to someone who actually knows what the fuck they're doing. So it's not about expertise; it's about competence, and it can come in many forms. And it starts small. The other thing is, nerd worship is okay if it's like Henry Cavill. You don't want to
No
promote
nerd worship's okay, bro. You like Henry
Dude,
Cavill
well,
because he's strong.
not worship, but well, he's fucking more than just like a nerd. He's actually a man. Like to promote guys
If
who are
he
just
was,
these,
listen again,
you
he
know,
shouldn't be a nerd.
weak ass fucking motherfuckers. That's a problem because,
No,
like you said, the weak ones are the ones who psychopathically just seek power that's
no,
non-physical.
no. Like again, like fucking the fact that Henry Cavill plays fucking 40K makes me not like him.
Well, that's fucked up.
Yeah, because like literally, like he stands here and like fucking lets these fucking guys who, what I mean, are like fucking, 18, 19, 30, 40 years old who literally like, they're just living in like this fucking fairy tale la la land, right? And I mean, sleeping in some fucking basement or whatever it is and not having a wife and not having anything else. That makes them okay with that fucking lifestyle. You ought not to be okay with that lifestyle.
Well, there's got to be some gray area. I mean, I'm kind of a nerd, but I'm also rough and tumble. Like, I think you can be both.
No, you're kind of a nerd because like, oh, you're fucking old and like you fucking, already went through life and got your ass kicked. These guys never even fucking tried. They've never even had a female touch their penis. They're fucking 45.
Fucked up, but I know what you mean.
Right? That's the mentality, bro. That's the issue that we're looking at. Right? It's not the fact that like you have like these fucking people who like Henry Cavill like in 40K. Right? You know what I'm saying? The issue is like you have Henry Cavill like making it okay to like be a piece of shit. It's like all the motherfuckers who stand here and go like weed's good for you, man. Like weed's cool for you if like you realize that like it makes you okay with shit you ought not to be okay with. Right? Like, you know how many times I've been in the hood, motherfuckers are hired in giraffe pussy, their kids are full, diapers are full, and they're standing here like motherfucking, like living around cockroaches, and they have no ambition to do anything the fuck else because they learned how to be comfortable and shit. Like, look at General, he drinks all the fucking time and smokes weed. You know why? His life is garbage. It makes him okay with his life being garbage. These are the things that, like, you shouldn't fucking do. Right? And you should have people around you when you see you doing this shit and falling into these fucking traps. Boom, come on, bro. Like, yo, listen, you gotta fucking come the fuck outside. Again, this gets back to like the whole authority thing. It's not just competency, it's authority as well. Right? Where like you're looking at these people and you go, like, listen, this guy needs this fucking authority. We need the authority to be able to take people in our neighborhood and pull them the fuck out of shitty situations. But the issue is nobody has that authority because nobody has that fucking connection because there is no such thing as a community in America. Because literally everybody's a radical individual and everyone has the same mentality as a fucking 18th century goddamn fucking, or like, yeah, an 18th century, like fucking nobleman's fucking kid.
Mm.
And none of them are.
No, I definitely,
princess treatment.
yeah, I definitely get what you're saying. I mean, and I more or less agree. I think I could try to wiggle this or that, but I think overall I agree with you. I mean, the truth is, I feel. I mean, I just put it this way: like, I don't think I'm a tough guy or anything like that, but like, I've really had to hold myself back because you can't really just go and be an alpha in society right now. Like you said, if you stick your head up, you're gonna get nailed down. You know what I mean? I mean, you're gonna get hammered down because.
Listen,
Well, I
like
don't mean
all
being
that,
fit. I'm just
all that alpha
being
shit's dumb, bro.
willing.
Whole like fucking thing.
Yeah.
Well, you get what I'm saying.
Find me, bro.
Okay, my point is like this: like back in the day, you had the guys who walked around and like you said, "Hey, dude, what the fuck are you doing drinking? We're gonna like not allow this." They'd break the bottle. They would literally like force people to act right. You know what I mean? You can't really do I'll tell you straight up, like these dudes walking around out here on drugs all day. I pretty much want to give them an ultimatum, like if you ever come back around here again, something bad's
I
going to
see what
happen
you're
to you.
saying.
You know what I
I see
mean?
what you're
I mean,
saying.
that's my attitude
Right.
about it. But
Listen, I
you
talked about
can't
this.
really
I
do
talked
that.
about this earlier, right? You know what I mean? Like, and again, like I talked about this fucking today. All right, look, you share a third floor walk up apartment with some friends who have 2 kids. At 19 years old, this life suits you. Women come and go from your bedroom throughout the week. Survive on chicken patties, peanut butter, and jelly. On payday and the first of the month, there's a feast. No set celebration time or order of operations. It isn't ritualistic, but it happens every month like clockwork. Come home from work and the house is full of people who've all brought weed and alcohol. A pot full of seafood and a pan of fried steaks are on the stove. At the end of the month, the kids eat peanut butter out of the jar and everyone searches for open food banks. Fights and petty arguments become problems that people are willing to kill each other over. The electric bill switches names every 6 months. Women steal their men's cars and use them to run us around. We had become coyotes, axing the kills of other animals. Right? This is what it is. Like, I became a coyote a long time ago, and like this is just kind of where we are. Right? And that's kind of what I've remained. It's just like being a fucking coyote, where like you stand here and you're not like a house pet, and you look at people who are like fucking domesticated, and what I mean, like their wives henpeck them, and you go, bro, like listen, I'm out here walking around without a collar and a leash, and I'm doing whatever the fuck I want to do. You don't have to be an alpha, but 100%, like you can motherfucking stand here and be a coyote and live outside of all the bullshit in the system. And the more people that do that, the less power the system has. And I feel like that's what we should be.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I don't want to get into it too much publicly, just because like I don't know that the average person that we're talking to right now can really handle what you're saying, but like,
What do you mean?
does that make sense? But yeah, I do agree with you. You know, for what you're saying. Yeah.
Right. I mean, like that's the mentality is like, yo, you literally should like be looking at motherfuckers like house pets, right? Because that's what they are. I mean, like, and
Well,
I'll be honest
I
with you, like,
do, but
I'm happy for
I
them.
can't talk about it that much because most people don't get it. But yeah, I understand what you're saying for
Like,
sure.
I'm happy if you're ignorant and like I said this on your stream, like fucking I don't know, a couple weeks ago, motherfuckers got or a couple of days ago, motherfuckers got really mad at me. Ignorance is bliss. Like legit. You know what I mean? Like, yo, you, when somebody puts those fucking glasses on you, you know what I mean? They share this knowledge with you and shit, right? And all of a sudden you see all this fucking shit around you and you have names for it and you can fucking like pick it out and you can't watch the news anymore. Your life sucks because everybody around you in your real life can. And when you try to share this information with you, their cognitive dissonance fucking mountain, right? You know what I mean? Stands here, motherfucking like hops in. Mountain has been saying like, yo, this is like the age of cognitive dissonance for like a couple weeks now. I'm liking his mental on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much agree. I mean, I don't really, and that's part of it. What I'm saying, like, let me put it this way: I'm pretty sure that when you walk into a room, you know, the better half of humanity is all kind of like observing what you're doing. And what I notice is most of the men don't even look up. They don't notice what's going on right in front of them. You know what I'm saying? And
I mean, all right. So here's all right. I was at an interview right recently, and I go to shake this guy's hand. Okay. His fingers
And
didn't
he
even,
runs away in fear.
No, his fingers didn't stretch across my palm.
Oh, that's hot.
Right? He was tiny as a human, right? Like, that guy can't operate in my world being me. He has to live in this. You don't have a fucking choice. You know what I mean?
Was he in Snow White?
I mean, he wasn't little, you know what I mean? But like, he would just, how do I put this?
I mean, you know, it's funny you put it like that. Like, I'll put it like this.
Right.
A lot of people hate on California, but I'll tell you, like, as a white guy, it's really trippy to be here because, like, for all the things that people say about, like, this sounds really fucked up, about like how like racial, you know, problems and California's woke and all this. Like, if you're just a normal white dude, you're taller than everybody, you're smarter than everybody, and generally people just don't fuck with you. And it's really bizarre. Like, I never would have expected that, but that's just the truth, you know? And it's just bizarre. Like, I don't know how to describe it unless you've been here, but it's like,
I've been there. Like, I'm not going to
it's
ask you to
weird.
dox yourself. It really depends exactly where you are.
I'm in Northern California, but
I mean,
Yeah,
like,
I'm not
so
in LA. So.
Wairiko weed is a different animal than fucking walking through fucking Watts or Compton.
Well, yeah,
obviously.
I would never go down there.
Right. Like, I've literally biked down Telegraph Avenue into the fucking through Oakland and where the fence is on the water line in the middle of the day, and we were like, "Huh, not so bad."
yo, listen.
Obviously, a different scene at night.
Yeah. Like, yo, see, here's the thing. We're from the East Coast, Mountain, right? Like, I went to Memphis and I was just kind of wandering around. And everybody's like, you're in a bad neighborhood. And I'm like, there's no like mattresses in the yard. There's no boards over the windows. Like, the buildings ain't falling into each other. You know what I mean?
No
like,
one's on fire. What do you mean?
Yeah, I will say this: the East Coast is way more worse than the West. Like, the East Coast is like fucking hardcore. Like, you know, Buffalo, New York, fucking Detroit, fucking
Philly.
Pennsylvania. I mean,
Yo,
it's
Philly.
like hardcore.
Fucking
yeah, Philly's
Eddystone,
really bad, dude.
right? Yo, fucking goddamn Wilkes-Barre, like, yo, like just these terrible ass places. Easton, right? Fucking Pittsburgh, yo, listen, bro, Pittsburgh's bad. Motherfuckers have no idea. Like, downtown Pittsburgh's so nice. Like, bro, you leave that motherfucking son, legit, you might not make it home. Like, yo, it's not a nice place. That shit is
Welcome to
terrible.
the jungle.
Oh man, yo.
Yeah, I'm very thankful. I grew up in the South, and I never saw a real ghetto until I went to the North, and I was like, "What the fuck, dude?" I was like, "What the fuck is?" Like, I had no idea that. Like,
Did you lock your doors? You locked your doors. That's smart
Yo,
though.
I
I
had
mean, I
to.
lived in the countryside in New York, but I mean, so I didn't have to deal with it. But I saw a lot of shit.
I went. I
Like, I
had to
would never go
go.
down downtown Buffalo for sure.
Yeah, I had to go down to fucking down to take a piss test yesterday, right? And the place to take the piss test was at this fucking place called Hamilton Health, right? Like these little fucking outposts, but it has a Quest in there, right? You know, like Quest Diagnostics, right? And fucking so I go in and go take my piss test, and I come out, and you know, I mean, like it's a really nice place. Like last time I was there, like I remember it was like a fucking shithole, but it was really nice. They had like rebuilt it, and it's fucking new facility and shit. And there's like it looked clean, right? Anyway, I get out of there and I leave, and as I'm driving out, I notice I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, listen, I know exactly where the fuck I am because like I get kind of turned around and shit, whatever. Like a lot of times, like my fucking sense of direction's fucking trash when I'm in a building. But like literally, like fucking, I get out and I look. Oh my god! Like I'm in the Swamps Projects, bro. Like it's right. I used to fucking live right the fuck there. Like yo, I found that dead body right over there. Like it was, yo, it's still as fucked up as it's ever been. You know, like legit. But like, yeah, man, like these little fucking like back alleyways and like town or like little when you have like the main roads that run through, like you have like main arteries that come through as like Darien Market, Paxton, and fucking her, right? And then you got 17th and 19th and 13th that run through. Like, and 13th's like trash. But anything in between like these roads where like you get down and like start making like lefts and rights, yeah,
Well,
you're basically in like fucking Havana.
well, you know what's hilarious. You know what's really funny about California? Of like like the worst people that are out here, that are out in the street, they're all from the East Coast.
Yeah.
They're all from fucking. They're all from like Baltimore, you know, fucking New Orleans, fucking. They're not from out here, you know.
Like nobody has any idea how bad Baltimore. Motherfuckers really don't understand, right? You know, what I mean,
What do you mean? I've seen The Wire.
Yeah, nah, like yo, y'all have no idea. Baltimore is like a fucking complete shithole. You know what I mean? Fucking hang on, I'm gonna grab some pictures. Like motherfuckers who are on the West Coast watching this, you can understand exactly what the fuck we're saying.
Something should be done about this. Like, don't you think that as long as our president is getting all this investment commitment, that we should choose these locations specifically to put the jobs, so that
Well,
maybe
I
these
think
communities can
I
have a
mean
chance?
I think that, you know, if they really wanted to do this, they would like basically make a, you know, private police force and
Who's
private
going to pay for
security
it?
that can
Who's gonna,
actually do something, but they won't do
that
it, you know.
that's paid for with taxes when your rent is Section 8. There is no tax money for that. No one's going to pay for that shit privately,
Well,
unless you're like a
I'm
local
thinking more like
warlord.
containment zones, like checkpoints and shit.
No, they just need jobs for like 10, 15 years. You put So if Apple's committing, half a fucking gajillion dollars to build a factory, put it in Jackson.
Well, I'm pretty sure they're going to be doing that in fucking, you know, Indonesia or some shit. Yeah.
Put it in Baltimore. Well, no, this has been on the news. Like our dear leader has
We'll
said,
have
had a
we'll
great
have slave
meeting.
labor in America again.
They've committed. Well, I don't think that is the goal. I think the idea is that if we produce domestically, raise tariffs, we can actually and get out all of the unwarranted non-domestic labor supply, we can fix this. And
Yeah,
kind of have
I
that
mean, I
renaissance.
definitely think that it's better to try something like that than do the status quo for sure. Like, I think that the status quo has been.
Well,
It
that's
actually doesn't even make sense to me from even like a liberal standpoint. Like I have no fucking idea what these liberal people
Well, they're retarded, and this is what I was saying. This is the third time I'm kind of reiterating this point. These are the people who are too afraid to speak out against the bad actor in the classroom because they don't want to be made fun of. So they are taught to emulate the popular behavior, which is I'm going to act stupid or act rowdy or unruly, and therefore I'm safe from ridicule. Like it's the emperor's new clothes, but the clothes are bad ideas. Be brave, speak out against them publicly when everyone's going along with the narrative. You know what I think? Since you didn't ask, I think that's not exactly correct. Blah 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 blah, and just fucking say some base shit. Not judgy, not preachy, not yelly, and then fucking leave it at that. Bye. Just give them
Yeah, I
something
mean,
to think about. Like, just break the mold a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have done that in almost everywhere I've went. And
Word.
but you know, it definitely didn't translate to like money and status. And I think that I'm just saying that like it should, like some, you know, I think that it should translate to that somehow. You
Yes,
know?
your Escalades in the mail and your gold teeth, sir. Great job.
Yeah. Sure. Why not?
Where do you have a PO box where we should send the pussy, or would you like to come pick it up at its store?
I mean,
It's about having some kind of small measure of responsibility to do fucking something.
Okay, so like this picture here is Chester.
It's not nothing.
PA, right? This is Chester, PA.
I gotta
This
see
one
this
here.
shit.
Yeah, it's on the stream, right? Like if I can, I put it on the OBS, right? You want me to throw it in the fucking side chat so you can see what we're looking at?
No, I'm watching the screen, but I just see the YouTube. Still.
Yeah, like I don't know, it should catch up. Fucking, I don't know how far back you are at the moment. Right, because I updated. I don't know, like a little bit ago.
I can see it. I can see.
You can see the picture now.
Yeah.
I'll just rejoin the live. Hold on.
I can rejoin the live. You know when
I
you can
didn't
see.
do shit. All right, just continue.
All right. Anyway, right. So this is Chester. Right. The rest of these are all. This is like my city. You know what I mean? Like this is what it looks like where I'm. Right, for all you West Coast guys that don't understand talking about it. You know what I mean? Right. So like this is the type of shit that we're like fucking that like, you know, talking about as far as like blighted, terrible ass fucking neighborhoods. Like, when you're in a bad neighborhood in like our neck of the woods, you know what I mean? Like, yo, you're in a bad fucking neighborhood. Like people have no fucking idea like how like shitty things really can get. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And I mean, to be honest with you, that's one of the reasons I haven't really gone back east yet, because like a lot of the places that I thought I was like, oh, I'll just go back, you know, what I'm familiar with. And I went back and I'm like, what the fuck happened? It looks like what you're showing on the screen. I'm like, what the fuck happened, dude?
Joe Biden happened. That's what the fuck happened, bro. No cap. For real. On God.
On God, bro.
I mean, I believe it. I mean, it's just when you go back and you look at like these, you know, Victorian fucking mansions and they look like this, you're like, okay, so
Yeah, well, that's where the cops are. Those guys pay a lot of tax. And where the tax money ends, so do the patrols.
Yeah. And you're looking ghetto in Scranton. Here we go. Oh wait, this is a great fucking picture. this shit's fucking terrible. But like here, bro, I'm gonna put this. This is Camden, New Jersey, bro. Like Camden, New Jersey is the classic American ghetto, bro. Like there's nothing better.
Yeah, bro.
Camden,
it's my neck of the woods.
Camden, fucking New Jersey. Look, you weren't from Philly, from fucking New York, right? Camden, New Jersey.
It's close.
How about Trenton?
Well, Trent's another shithole that nobody really thinks about, right?
Yo, I was a half hour from Newark, and I'd be working on a roof, right? Just overlooking the traffic, and there'd be like some honking and shit. We look over the fucking wall. And there's some. It's like the middle of the summer, and there's like some tall Watusi motherfucker. He's got a traffic cone on his head. He's wearing a fireman's coat, buck naked, with the coat open. You know, he's like dripping sweat because it's fucking hot. He's wearing like rubber and like rain boots. I was like, yeah, man, fucking A right. Literally walking in front of cars and yelling at them for fucking being in his way in the middle of the street. That's some hood shit.
That's just the price of living in beautiful America right now.
Based.
You know,
Like, why are you being so based right now?
I think that all immigrants who come in
You
should
get
have
used
to
to
go
it.
live in the worst ghetto in America first,
We
and
shouldn't
then
have ghettos.
we shouldn't have them, but that's why we send in the immigrants to fix it up.
We shouldn't have immigrants. We shouldn't have immigrants or ghettos.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say that, like, Tucker Carlson had a good comment, but he's like, we just need like 30, 40 years of just zero immigration.
zero
And
immigration.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Here's fucking Trenton, and then here goes, like, Camden never fails to disappoint. Shit, I'm like, yo, Camden never fails to disappoint. They're such great ghettos, bro. Their ghettos are right. You know what I'm saying? Like, just they never fail. You know what I mean? To like fucking become like more based. You know what I mean? Like they're just
America's always number one in everything.
Yeah. Right. Hold. This is amazing.
That's right. Our women are the best athletes because they're men.
I agree. Right. Fucking hate. Like, why does it try to save things as web files? Oh man, listen, this isn't a real. Who the fuck like uploads pictures like? It's so terrible, bro. Hold up. This is. Yo, you know who? Like, listen, the king of the ghettos, though, bro. Like Camden's gangster. I'm not gonna front on Camden. You know what I mean? Like, I think they are amazing when it comes to making. They're just not a lot of places that can hang with their shit. You know what I mean? Right? But let's keep this 100% honest. Right? Fucking nobody beat Cleveland. Yo, listen. Cleveland is the undisputed winner of like worst ghettos in America. Like, yo, look.
Really, not St. Louis. All right. Well, I wish your stream was updating. I don't know what the fuck's up with this.
I don't know. Here, listen. I can put it in the side chat as I.
Yeah, please.
Hold up.
No, I can see it. That was like Soviet fucking Russia.
Yo, here. The fucking mountain there. I put it in the side chat for you. Hold up.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yo, hold on. I got another one.
It looks like a overcast spring day.
Here.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Sunny day.
Cozy apartment facing the east sun.
Yo, look at this.
2.4 million.
Look at this. Nothing beats Cleveland. I have been to like some of the worst ghettos in America. St. Louis is terrible. I'll be honest with you. Guys, like St. Louis is complete trash. Right? It's like one of the worst places you can ever go to. Right?
Yeah,
there's free seating outside, so you can picnic.
I've driven cross country a few times, and St. Louis was like the fucking craziest place I drove through. I was like, I literally was driving like 80 in a 45 zone to get the fuck out of there. I was like, this place is
exactly.
Nah, son.
Nah, dog. Fast enough.
Nah, dog. Like, listen. No. All right. No. Okay. No. I know you want to have respect for St. Louis. All right. But I got some shit that will like, you know what I mean? That just, it beats shit out of fucking St. Louis. Cause I've been to St. Louis. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I
just drove through it, and there was like literally feral black people driving, hanging out of the window at 100 miles an hour,
Based.
cutting people off and like waving guns at me. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I was like, get me the fuck out of here.
Oh, nah, listen.
I'm sure
listen.
there's some worse places, but it was like, I was like, this is just yeah, it's pretty dramatic looking.
Yeah, I went to there's two places I've been to, right? That were like just wow. Just I mean, wow. On some levels for me, right? Both of them were in Ohio, right? One was motherfucking Cleveland. The other one, right, was motherfucking Cincinnati. Right? Cincinnati is like the fucking most insane place I've ever been in my whole life. Like I've never seen anything quite like. Right? That's not. God damn it. Yeah. Said delete. Stupid. Rid of. Right? Here. There we go. Yeah. Cincinnati's on a different level. Cincinnati, like they literally like have holes in the buildings, right? And they look like they've been shelled. You know what I'm saying? And they couldn't call for help. We'll just go with Gabby.
Well, that just lets you know that the strength of diversity has worked very well there.
St. Louis, bro. Listen, why are you trying to rival fucking Cincinnati and Cleveland? Ow.
I just really pray I never go to Ohio. That's for sure.
Yeah, Ohio's trash, bro. It's terrible. Yeah, but I'm sitting here looking at ghetto pictures from like fucking St. Louis. Oh my god, it's bad. Like it's really bad.
Yeah.
Yo, this should not be a thing. Like, why is this, bruh? All right, listen. All right, St. Louis wins. All right, I'll be honest. It's gonna win this contest. You know what I mean? Like it wins. It wins worst ghetto I've ever seen in my entire life. It's like
I had to tell you.
Holy shit, bro. Listen.
So, did you ever see the interview with the original Crips?
I'm gonna go with no. I mean, maybe I saw like a couple of them, but like I don't know. What do you got?
Like
Cool.
you know, they're old dudes now. They're really based, right? So
Yeah,
one of the
100%.
quotes that comes to mind is that, you know, he's like, everybody's acting like we're the bad guys, but we're just standing in the broken buildings, throwing the bricks back at you that you left us with. Right?
God, that is so fucking
Like
based.
that's not wrong. It's like there's no reason for this shit. Everyone wants to
St. Louis wins. God damn.
you know, act as if it can't be repaired. It can totally be. If you have something that your work like provides you, like I think these places can be restored. Just people need to have some fucking dignity for their effort, right? Like you should be able to have jobs available locally
And afford to pay for your wife and kids and
yeah, and toys and fun and fucking be able to save for like retirement and retire with dignity. Like that, if you provide that, then the shit won't look like that. Like people will own shit and then take care of the shit that they own because if they break it, they're just fucking themselves up. And most people aren't really like that when they have shit like skin in the game. You know what I mean? When they own shit, but they got to have the means for that. And you know, this ties back into what Mr. Based Weinstein was saying in that interview. He's like, "Yo, we exported the wealth to sustain this pyramid."
well, again, I mean, it's fun. That's one of the things that I've, you know, kind of trolled about the whole like, is it the Jays or is it the whatever? You know, it's like how is it like how is it not a national security threat that people can't afford to like take care of themselves on
and have a normal job and a normal community, and like isn't that a national security threat? You know what I mean? Like, isn't that a problem for
No.
America? Right.
Yes, if you are non-elite. No, if you are an elite. If you're elite, you really don't give a fuck. You don't care. Not your problem, somebody else's problem, not my backyard. Who cares?
But that's why that's why I do like what Weinstein's saying, because he is actually saying that, like, even if you're elite, you should be concerned with this. And I mean, for the very least, like, it's kind of funny, like the BLM stuff. Like, I definitely think that was retarded. But the funny part about it is like, it's only because of what you're saying that that's even possible, right? Like, if these people all had like a job and shit to do and responsibilities and shit, like, they wouldn't be doing that, right?
Yeah, it kind of magically goes away, like over time. Like it's not an instant solution, but you give shit time, right? And just watch. Like, imagine everybody in a poor area has a job and poverty goes away. How did that happen? Gee, I ponder. Who knows?
Well, and the funny part is, again, is like, I think a lot of the talk about, well, we just don't need XYZ or this or that. It's like the money in the economy is totally fake and gay anyway. So, like, if they wanted to just make
I agree so much. You'll have everyone
industries,
argue against you, but yeah.
yeah, I mean, like, if we're gonna live in a communistic, Potemkin village called the United States, we might as well have like fun and jobs and people, you know, making money. And it's funny because, like, I've been to, like, Southeast Asia, right? And you go to Southeast Asia and it's like everything's fucked up there, but everybody's like pretty happy and everybody's getting laid and everybody has money. And so it's like, okay, so like, how come people can do that here but we can't do that in America? It's like, I mean, it's ghetto, but it's like
Because we've exported our
not
wealth.
bad,
The lie was
That's not what it is, bro. That's not what it is. Right?
global trade will
it's not
enrich
that.
us.
No, it's
But the
bro,
truth
it's not
is,
that.
it was
No,
a
it's not
zero-sum
that though.
game.
It's literally not that. Right? That's not even a fucking real problem at all. Right? What the real problem is that you have like this. You have this structure of where we think that we're kings, right? We have the same exact attitude of kings, right? We're sitting here and we're looking at this, and it's not like we think that like we can like fucking just offload all of the things that used to be done inside of like our communities, right? You know what I mean, to like some national corporation, and we can just go like, hey, because of like economies of scale, I mean, they'll fucking be able to like take care of this for me for really cheap, right? It's like, back in the day when your car broke, you had like a neighbor who fixed it, right? Or if your lawnmower broke, your neighbor fixed it, right? You had like a local neighborhood person who did these things, right? And you had somebody who grew chickens in your neighborhood, and like you got eggs from them, right? And like you had like all these structures, and you had like a guy who came and fixed your refrigerator or like fucking helped you like fix your house or whatever it is. That's what they do in Asia, right? They don't like, have like national chains and international like fucking businesses that do this type of work, right? They buy goods, and then when the goods break, they fix them, right? Rather than going and just throwing it away and buying a fucking new one. This is really where everything got fundamentally really fucked up, because like we thought that we could just forever have cheap ass fucking goods made by like fucking slaves and like fucking children, and then like never have to fix anything ever again. So we got rid of all these local economy things where like, some of your money literally went back into your neighborhood and they're like fucking fed, like regular people. You know what I mean? And so like, when you have like, when you have like celebrations and shit, you can go to like a little fucking restaurant that's owned by a mom and pop spot, and everybody fucking frequents it, and you can go there and eat. You can take women on dates there, and like you have like this whole sentiment of, we're passing shit down, and like I'm doing the same thing my father did, and they're doing the same, like, and my son's gonna do the same thing that I did, and his son's gonna do the same thing that I did, right? And my father did, and it's this whole like forward thing. but like we imported into like not just like our nation, but also our cities, right? Like tons of people who weren't from there, right? And we basically destroyed the cultural fabric of like who the fuck we were as a people. And I mean, and that makes people not want to invest. Like, why would somebody want to like keep like helping a neighborhood where all the white women are coming home with light skinned kids? You know what I mean? Because they're bringing black dudes up and banging them and then sending them on their fucking way. You know what I mean? Do you really want to contribute to a neighborhood that's not going to look like you after you're gone? At the end of the day? No. But that's, you know what I mean? Like the understanding that you think everybody, that's what they think everybody should have. And shit's fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's that. The disposal economy came up in the started around the mid '80s, like the Madonna era. I was there for it, and I agree that that is a problem. Obviously, chains and corporate proliferation is an issue, but the reason you can't afford to go out, the reason McDonald's is like a fucking luxury, right? I stand by my statement. We export our wealth, and here's kind of how it works. We incentivize, we create the free trade agreements, right? The companies are like, well, we'll just take advantage of the offshore labor, so therefore we'll load up our machines from American soil, put them on boats, and just screw them back down somewhere else where the cheap labor is. We get their stuff, right? And we send them our dollars to balance the trade, so their currency doesn't go up against it and like ruin the fucking deal. They buy our bonds, and we hyperinflate or just continue to inflate our currency to pay it back, and infinite money glitch. And that's why our purchasing power is fucked. If that makes sense.
I mean, it's sort of kind of that, right? It's look, when you have national chains, right? What you're doing is you're extracting like your fucking wealth out of your community, and like you're fucking taking it and you're putting it elsewhere. Because the
you're
people,
giving it the fucking you're giving it to the shareholders, and you're giving it to some like executive vice president who lives in La La Land.
Yeah,
and has
right.
like 5 fucking golf club memberships and a yacht.
Right, and so like this is what I'm saying.
Instead
Like these
instead of the guy that lives like five roads down.
Exactly right. These national chains are literally a way of exporting wealth out of your neighborhoods. Right. That's why things like Chick-fil-A and like fucking all these things, like they may seem like they're good, but they aren't. They are fucking terrible for your fucking community. Right.
No, I agree.
It's
I
hot
totally
garbage
agree.
for your body too. Like it's not good.
I mean,
Yeah, like
you may think it tastes good, but that's a fucking.
I went to the local Chick-fil-A and or one of the ones around here, which it's kind of new to this area. And when they first opened, they were super crazy busy. But anyways, I went in there and saw the owner, and it's like this Korean Christian lady, and
was she hot?
Yeah, she was. And but and so I looked up her and her family and like what they're involved in, and it's like they're just delusional. Like they hire all these like dumb teenagers. They literally had 20 people working for a job for a job that could have taken like 10 people to do, and like they didn't clean the bathroom, they didn't do whatever, but everybody just going around pretending to do work that they're not doing, and it's like they're just making so much money, like they don't even care. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, and it's. I know that sounds like not relevant to what we're talking about, but like, it's like it's just there for the sake of being there, right? It's not. It's like here's your goy slop. I mean, for lack of a better term, right? Like it's just, and like when I grew up, you go to Burger King or McDonald's, I knew all the people there, right? We're all the same kind of people. You talk to the people, you know who they are, and that was a global corporation, but like that just doesn't exist anymore. Like there's no community feel to it. It's like you're just a fucking transaction essentially. And the woman who owned it,
didn't seem to like get that, you know, like I don't think she was just like a greedy person only. I think she thought, oh, I'm just going to invest in this business or whatever. But it's like,
Yeah, I mean, it's, yeah, again, it's
yeah,
literally a way to extract wealth out of your neighborhood. That's his job. That's what motherfuckers don't understand. Like, go, but well, I understand that it's not zero sum, right? I get that mentality, right? Like nothing is zero sum. But in the end of the day, when that transaction starts getting weighed out, you know what I mean, like a long term fucking like shit, like they're gonna take more from you than you're gonna get from it, right?
Right.
And that's just how like a national business works. It's different if like, you know, this is like a mom and pop pizza shop or like fucking, you know, like a little fucking, you know, a sub shop or a diner or whatever it is, and it's owned by local people who started it, you know what I mean, and built it and all that type of
Yeah.
shit.
Well, they better be good, right? Or else you can't come back. Like if they have to be good, and that's why it's a risk. So just looking at it from the biz op perspective, the reason people go into these franchises, first of all, you have to have a crazy net worth. Like you have to have a certain amount of liquid net assets, and
yeah, exactly. Yep, that's true.
but it's a proven entity. Like it's got a formula for success.
Well, I
Like
mean, like
all the
here's the thing, right? So like
all the shit's
here,
pre-made,
like where I live at here, right?
turnkey.
It's 100% normal for motherfuckers to like start restaurants and them to be like remotely successful, right? There's some of them that fail, you know what I mean, because like, you know, they're just, you know, their ingredient costs are too fucking high, you know what I mean? Like they're female-owned businesses usually that come and go, right? But like, you
9
know,
out of 10 new restaurants fail within the first year.
oh yeah, these will
That's why
fail.
the
These
fucking
fail
food
within like
restaurants
4 or 5, right? But basically, like here, because like we have like an actual food culture where I live, right? You know what I mean? That's not like the rest of the country. It isn't just like barbecue or fucking steak or whatever. You know what I mean? It's really like it's scrapple and it's fucking pierogies and it's fucking whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's shit that's like here. You know what I mean? Stuff that's made here. You can't get that at Applebee's, right? You can't get that at fucking Chili's. You can't get that at Denny's. Right, so like the stuff that they make here and the stuff that they serve here is shit that like people here eat, and so like they have that built-in structure. You know what I'm saying? That's the mental, right? You know what I mean? That's how shit actually fucking works. You know what I mean? And that's why like, you know, like these diners around here, they stay in business forever, bro. Like there's been like 3 or 4 of them that closed down, but it's mostly because like they're old people.
But it's like I'll just use where I live as an example, right? Like you got just a ton of people from Asia, you got a ton of people from here and there, but it's funny, it's like everybody gravitates back to the global corporations, and a lot of the reason why is like it's the only place that you'll get a consistent meal. Like every time you go to McDonald's, it's consistent, right? But with a lot of these shops, like they've hired nothing but fucking Mexicans, and they don't cook right. They don't act right. And again, not all. Some of them are really good, but in general, you know,
It's a gamble.
it's
Well, no,
yeah.
The reason I go to like, for instance, I'll stop McDonald's or Hardee's or whatever it is, right? Well, first off, it's like directly on my way to work. Number one. Number two, the other half is it's the packaging, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, when I can get like my fries and a burger in a fucking bag and just bang it out and I'm cool. You know what I mean? Like I don't have to fuck around with styrofoam and you know what I mean, all the extracurricular shit that comes with like going to like a little local spot. It makes life easier for me. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of it's the convenience of being able to like eat it while I'm rolling. You know what I mean? Like I can eat it on my way to work and sit in my truck and finish it up, whatever it is, and I'm fucking good. Right? Like when I go to like a pizza shop, like, you know, if I'm going to get pizza, bro, pizza is really difficult to eat going down the road. You grease all over you and just fucking pain in the ass. Right? If you get a fucking sub, shit's falling out all over the fucking place. You gotta unwrap it and then you have like half the fucking sub left. It's a pain in the fucking dick. Right? Go get a gyro or go get a fucking, you know what I mean, like the fucking pierogies. You got to dip them in the sour cream. Go down there. It's hard. It's much easier to just get fries and a goddamn burger. You know what I mean? Because it's simple. You know what I mean? And it's basic. And I kind of enjoy that. That's the reason why I do it. That's really it. That and it's ready in like fucking 3 minutes. You know what I mean? Rather than waiting for 20 minutes for them to make a fucking sub, which I don't know why it takes 20 minutes to make a sub at a lot of these restaurants, bro. Like you order a sub when I was working at the pizza shop, bro, that shit was ready in like 2 minutes. It was good to go. Fucking dumb. These motherfuckers, I don't know, man. Like, this got some, like, lackadaisical motherfuckers working in the goddamn back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though. It's like, dude, literally in a lot of the restaurants here, like you'll go in and order and you'll be waiting 20 fucking minutes for a fucking sandwich or a fucking whatever the fuck. It's like it's crazy, dude. It's fu- it's like it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, I know.
And like
Like,
I do food business actually part time with me and my wife do some food stuff and like the way we do it is like and I used to be in the food business many years ago too and it's like I was very fucking professional with that shit. Like I took it serious, and I literally did the job of like 3 or 4 people when I made food, and I preferred it because I did it the right way. You know what I mean? And I didn't have complaints. But the way a lot of people do it, they just don't give a fuck. I mean, they just like literally throw shit in a bag and there, that's it.
Oh, I find that to be more true at the chain restaurants.
well, like, I'll be real. Like, I'd rather go get fucking Chinese food than stop at like a lot of pizza shops at this point because like a Chinese food's ready in like fucking 5 minutes, right? Like, I don't know why they're so quick. I mean, they're so much
They're
faster
built
than
for
like
speed because the woks are always hot.
that.
Yeah. Well. I'll tell you this. Like, say what you will about Asians. Like, a lot, at least the old school ones, like their work ethic is pretty good. Like it's just
Yeah,
that
that
they
too.
just work fucking hard,
They
So
bang it out. They get up. They get early. They get in there early and they do all the prep. And so all they're really doing is like slapping together some ingredients and making it hot. It's not like this whole process of take it out the fridge, microwave it, slide
yeah,
it
I
down the
know, I
line.
know. There's a lot of bad Chinese restaurants out here because there's just so many of them. Like there's a lot of bad Asian food out here, but um, in general, like I've been in a lot of these kitchens. I've met a lot of these people. Like you said, they do their prep. Like they're very methodical, like, and they
I mean,
communicate very well with each other, which is just
yo,
rare now. Like,
here's some
yeah,
weird shit, man. Like, yo, all right, I out here, I've never had a bad Chinese food experience, like anywhere ever, right?
Hmm.
I'll, like maybe West Virginia, like that shit was terrible, but like everything in West Virginia is terrible food wise, right? But like I don't know, like why would it be bad out there? Like literally, you're closer to China. You have more Chinese motherfuckers than we do. Like, how is our shit better than yours?
um, well, I think you guys get all the Cantonese food out there.
Yeah,
Like, you guys all have the same shit basically,
yeah, it's
but
General
out
Tso's
here it's a little
chicken,
more
pork fried
diverse.
rice. You know what I mean? Fucking sweet and
It's
sour chicken.
it's it, it's a little more diverse. I mean, let me put it this way, like a lot of the restaurants are just very dirty. That's what I'll put. I'm kind of picky about like a dirty fucking kitchen. You know what I mean? Like if the fucking kitchen's dirty, I'm not gonna eat there.
Oh, see, man, listen, we got So, all right, I live in what's known as a functional state, right? So like, literally, like, I swear to God, I get updates on my phone about like fucking which restaurants failed inspections and shit on a regular basis. You know what I mean? Like, oh, and they're out here fucking getting it, bro. Like, they inspect everybody all the fucking time, bro. Like, you have to like be clean, or you're not gonna be in business. They will shut you
Imagine
the
that.
fuck down. Yeah. PA is great about that type of shit. Like, yo, we are fucking serious about like, you know how like you have like the U.S. Department of Agriculture or whatever. Like Pennsylvania has its own Department of Ag, right? So literally, like, we don't even have to have the FDA or like fucking any of that type of shit, like inspect any of our stuff. Because a lot of the stuff we do is intrastate, not interstate. So like literally, a lot of the things we eat are from here. So like, we don't even have to go through the FDA. You don't have to have the USDA approve shit, right? Because we have the Pennsylvania Department of Ag does it. You know what I mean? And we stay completely safe. And it has higher standards than the fucking government does, than the federal government.
Yeah, which means it supersedes it. But here, so in New York City, when you actually see the food, the inspection grade on the window,
Mm-hmm.
you're surprised that there's one at all. But at least 50% of the time, when you get up close, the paper is old as fuck. It looks like ancient parchment.
And ours is
It's like,
like
all
we
right,
have our shit
that's par for
online.
the course.
You know what I mean? Again,
Just saying.
functional state,
You
dude.
get used to it. You just get used to it. You gamble. You go on a jaunt. You fucking be like, you know what? I'm going to try this place, and you take a look around. You give it a shot, and if it's good, keep going back.
Yo, we're streaming, General,
Hopefully,
just so you
nothing
know.
changes. There's this place in New York City that I took a gamble on Church Street, which is right outside the the new Needle Tower.
Right.
It was called the Vietnamese food, the pho.
Right.
These guys are based as fuck. Yeah, pho, right? It was the pho king. He's the king of pho, dude. Literally, the restaurant's called fucking. Great. And it was really good, dude. That shit was fucking awesome.
Listen, who the fuck eats Indian food? Like, fucking
I love
televised, like,
Indian food.
warfare
Yo,
or
I love
apocalypse,
Indian
whatever.
food.
Bro, listen, I would never eat street shitter food. Like, get the fuck out
Have
of
you
here.
have you
You're out of your
never
mind.
had palak paneer? It's pretty good.
I have. Listen, I don't even know. Are you speaking words or are you just making shit up?
Yeah,
It's
dude.
like the dish that has like a spinach and like the little cubes of cheese
Again,
in it.
you
It's
understand
pretty
I've
tasty.
never even been inside of an Indian restaurant, like, ever. I will never eat Indian food. The fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah. You're too white bread and mayonnaise for that shit. But
White
when
bread
I
and
work in the
mayonnaise?
city,
What is this white bread?
I
Bro,
put-
listen, no, okay? Because I go to the
pretty
Puerto
much
Rican
only
spot.
eat like Indian food in the city.
I will never fucking
Puerto
eat
Rican
Indian
shit is
food.
super greasy, bro. They're like fucking literally more grease than plantains.
Right? You know what I mean? Like, I'll go get fucking pork chops and plantains and shit, bro. Like, I'm down, dog. 100%.
There's more oil in the plantains than actual like plant fiber.
I mean,
10
I
out of
agree.
10 times.
Right, but like, listen, they're good. You know, I go to the pizza shop and I'll get fucking cheesesteak and some wings or some shit or something. You know what I mean? Or I'll get fucking like some tacos from the pizza shop, or just fucking slamming, or like a fucking turkey and cheese or something. You know what I mean? Like, yo, fuck that, bro. Like, I got plenty of good food I can eat. Why would I go fucking eat street shitter food? I don't.
Hey, look,
I don't
man,
shit in the street.
more Indian food for me. Indian food's sophisticated.
It is not sophisticated. It got a
curry
bunch of
chicken.
like poop and shit in it.
Only if you go to like a really bad one. The only time I've ever smelled like actual diarrhea in the tandoori was like Philadelphia.
Again, like, listen, I won't eat Indian food ever. All right, just like I won't eat
Dude,
sushi,
okay.
like, because I refuse to eat anything that a gook eats.
Nobody is going to tell me, like, despite the amount of cow urine that might make it,
Yeah, may or may not.
curry chicken is fucking tasty.
Yeah,
I don't care.
it's all
I don't care how much cow urine is involved. in
all the
its
shit's tasty.
processing.
Like, there's almost no bad Indian dish.
Man, listen, I'm over here checking the fucking chat and shit. I mean, like, I don't know. Somebody said you doing adrenochrome or something. I have no idea, but I don't know.
Yeah, adrenochrome sandwich with fucking peanut butter, of course.
Yeah, listen, I don't do fucking Indian food, all right? I don't do fucking Japanese food. I don't do fucking Korean food. I do some Chinese food. I do some fucking Italian food. I do Puerto Rican food. I won't even go to like a Mexican shop because I don't want them fucking here, right? You know what I mean? Anybody I don't want in my city, I won't fucking stand here and frequent they shit. That's my mentality.
You know, the thing about the Japanese restaurants, it's very rarely is it actually a Japanese person. They're mostly Chinese and Korean.
Yeah, and I found that, like, yo, listen, black people can't make barbecue at the North. Right.
Yeah, that's true. So repeat that about you said you won't eat at the restaurant of people you don't want in your city. Who were they? The Indians? The what?
Indians, Japanese, Koreans, Mexicans.
What is it that you don't like about the Koreans? Just out of curiosity.
They're fucking bug people, right? Who, like, you know what I mean, are like fucking like pieces of shit who come here and don't hire like Americans, and they fucking like make motherfuckers temp agencies and try to use them as slaves, right? They're garbage.
Yeah, I mean that's actually true.
Yeah, I know. I used to
Actually
work for
funny.
Samsung.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was a permanent temp.
Yeah, so people don't understand that there's a difference. Like Chinese, I found are actually like I think Chinese and Americans actually have a lot in common, but Koreans, it's very, very, very different.
Yo, the only
Very
Asians
different.
I ever
I've known
liked were
quite a few.
were the Chinese motherfuckers. Chinese motherfuckers are cool as shit, right? Like, yo, especially like the older ones, they come over, they just like to curse and smoke cigarettes and like talk shit and act and talk about pussy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they're very relatable, I would say.
Yeah, they're cool as fuck, bro. The Chinese motherfuckers are cool.
Yeah.
They're just cool fucking people as a whole. You know what I mean? But like the Koreans
The
and the
Koreans,
Japanese, fucking bitches, bro. Like literally, I had beef with them when we were teenagers. Like literally, we used to go over to this fucking pool hall called Club Med, right? And we'd we go over and go to the pool hall. Me and like I don't know, like me and my fucking gorillas and shit. We'd have like fucking like 3 black people, 2 Puerto Ricans, and like 3 Italians, and we'd all go in, right? And these fucking Koreans, you know what I mean? Like they start feeling away because like everybody over here trying to like pick up their bitches, right? And they all standing up with they spiky hair, they fucking K-pop ass fucking look. Recent, you know what I mean? I didn't say K-pop back then because this is like 2000 and like fucking 1 maybe or 1998. You know what I mean? And like literally, we're about to fucking drag these motherfuckers out of the pool hall and beat they fucking ass and shit. Like I'm like, we don't give a fuck if you know all that kung fu like that kung fu dodo bullshit. Fuck you. You know, I'm whoop your fucking ass. Hate them motherfuckers, bro. Legit. Fucking can't stand. I never could stand Koreans, bro. They're fucking garbage as humans.
Okay, but no one is going to stand here and say that like Chinese food is like the best of the Asian food.
It is,
right? Like
and General Tso's chicken,
kinda,
top
it's
rank,
kind
bro.
of trash.
General Tso's chicken is literally the best of Asian food.
Well, there's a lot
no,
of different kind of Chinese food though. Like it's very diverse. Most people only tried the Cantonese stuff, but
Yeah, you need
there's
to
a
try
lot of different
Beatles
kind
on
of
the
Chinese
stick.
food.
Yeah,
Like
the
if you
Beatles
never
on
had
the stick,
Szechuan,
I have heard. It's pretty good.
if you never had Szechuan food, you got to try it. It's like very fucking spicy shit. Like
Yo, and let me say this, bro. I've never had ramen noodles, and I refuse to eat ramen noodles because I don't want fucking Japanese people in my country.
yeah,
I
ramen
think
noodles.
the most delicious thing that I've ever eaten from like an Asian country is it's actually just Vietnamese pho. It's delicious. It's so fucking good.
Mhm.
Just put a bit of lime on that. They got some noodles. They have some like beef or pork or whatever the fuck you order.
Well, people don't understand. Like I don't like Vietnamese culture very much, but they're savages, so I respect them. Thai culture is extremely different than any other Asian for sure too. Like they're not exactly the same.
I got one issue with Thai food.
Yo,
and
motherfucking
that's,
AP, what up,
they
bro?
put,
Like, nice to see you in here, bro. Like, listen, like, I ain't been around because, like, yo, I got nuked off of Discord and they threatened to call the FBI on me, dog. You know what I mean? So, like, I ain't been around much. You know, the motherfuckers can't find me. I'm laying low at the second. Like, literally, you see my name is Jewish's baby dad and shit, like, on fucking Discord. Like, it is what it is. AP's my boy, bro. Like, fucking, he runs a big ass channel. He got a cartoon show that he does. Like, it's like a late night show. Fucking great. Everybody should check out Adonis Paul. It's fucking shit's a shit. Nice guy would like that.
The issue with Thai food is that they fucking put peanuts in everything. And honestly, I don't want everything to taste like peanut butter. You know, it's obnoxious. Don't put peanuts in fucking everything.
Yeah, I'm cool, bro. Yeah, only
well,
Chinese food. That's it. Only Chinese food. You should only have like General. What do you say? General Don's chicken nuggies, right? Apparently that's a new name, right? You know what I'm saying? Pork fried rice, and like, you know what I mean, maybe some like sweet and sour chicken, and like, I don't know, and some fortune cookies. Listen, that's all I need from the Chinese. I'm good. Other than that, I don't give a fuck about anything else they make. I just like African food. Fuck African food too. Where'd everybody else go? General?
So
I don't know. Listen, I was just making sure everybody didn't my fucking shit didn't fuck up again. I had to leave and come to fuck back earlier.
No, you're good. I might pass out in a few minutes, so I'm gonna.
Yeah, I'm here
gonna
soon.
jump
That
off for
same
now.
level,
Listen.
bro. It's like 4 a.m. in the fucking morning and shit.
Yeah, it's just about time to kick it.
I feel you. Yo, listen, man. Everybody, it has been motherfucking nice. You know what I'm saying? Streaming with y'all. You know what I mean? Like, thank you everybody for showing the fuck up tonight. Yo, listen, y'all know the deal. Like, share, and subscribe. Make sure you check out my Substack. Check out the T Public, bro. Listen, like, yo, got all types of motherfucking new designs and shit. We're gonna be putting some new fucking meme fucking shirts up and shit. I hope y'all motherfuckers enjoy. Right? But like in the meantime, y'all know the deal. Peace be like one. I'm the fuck up.